Afternoon, everyone. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll, please?
Certainly. Good afternoon. Mr. Bailey?
Here.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Herbert? Dr. Bustles?
Here.
Mr. Brennan?
Present.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Here.
Thank you.
Reverend McDowell, could you say a word, please?
Just about it. Creator and most merciful, we thank you for this season of Advent. We ask that you might sensitize us to the Advent season and yet to your will and your grace. Touch us all. Be with us all. Undergird and protect us. Protect this city of ours as we continue to grow and flourish. We ask it in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council, and happy holidays to everyone. At this time, we will adopt today's agenda. And Mr. Mayor, I do not believe there are any additional amendments.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey? Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Public input. Individuals are allotted up to 3 minutes to address City Council about items on the agenda. These items are for this period and do not require a public hearing. So any items that are part of the public hearing will be addressed at that time.
All right, thank you.
Clerk?
Yes, sir. At this time, we have Mr. Rick Patel signed up to speak on item 31.
Hello. Hey, I'm Rick Patel. I have a few hotels here in downtown Columbia, and I'm talking about number 31. So basically, the city building that y'all put up for sale is coming up. The contract is in y'all's hands. It wasn't done correctly. I just want to make sure everybody knows about it. I bid at $5 million for the project. Y'all are selling it for $2.9 million and then giving the owners $400,000. That's half the price that I offered. Something needs to be looked at. This is not right for the taxpayers of City of Columbia losing this kind of money. On top of it, I bid at the amount of money just for the building. The new ownership has parking garage included. That's losing parking for the city people that already have parking problem. This is a big issue for the Columbia citizens. So something needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Mayor, no one else has signed up to speak during this portion of the meeting.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to take an opportunity for a point of personal privilege. I'd like to take the time to honor our colleague, Dr. Aditi Bustles, as she concludes her historic term here on Columbia City Council. Dr. Bustles was a trailblazer. She made history as the first Asian American Pacific Islander woman elected to Columbia City Council. She accomplished this as a source of immense pride for this AAPI community and the entire city. Your leadership and civic engagement, training the next generation of diverse leaders will be felt for years to come. Your engagement brought a new voice, a critical demographic to the city conversation, and one that's focused on the future. We are very fortunate that at the time on your council coincided with a critical period in our community. As a trained public health professional, your policy experience and your clear, poised communication was invaluable. You ensured that our policy discussions were always grounded in data and community well-being. You brought much-needed subject matter expertise to the complex issues, ensuring the best outcomes for our citizens. Your commitment to service excellence has earned you recognition that spans from state capitol to the national stage. You were awarded the National League of Cities Under 40 Award. This is a distinction that recognizes you as one of the nation's top emerging young leaders in municipal government, validating your fresh perspective in your strategic policy work. The South Carolina Public Health Alumni Award, I should say South Carolina School of Public Health Alumni Award, excuse me. Your work demonstrates a lasting commitment to public health policy, showcasing the immense value of the professional training right here in our community. Your impact not only will be felt long after your term ends, especially in several areas, but two that are very impactful currently. One, the homelessness efforts that you took the lead heading the homeless task force, ensured that this complex humanitarian, I can't speak today, issue remains a council priority, driving us towards actionable, compassionate solutions. Black Maternal Health Week. You were instrumental in establishing Black Maternal Health Week here in Columbia, elevating a critical equity issue and connecting residents to vital local resources. Marketing. It's beyond policy that you were engaged in Columbia's fiercest, and one of Columbia's fiercest advocates, especially in how we tell our story, which is the theme that we picked up on from day one, is that we wanted to tell our story about Columbia. You pushed us to think outside the box on the city's rebrand. You understood the importance of spreading Columbia's story far and wide. Your advocacy ensured we invested in innovative tools, from new signage to video storytelling, to communicate Columbia's vibrancy and potential to not only other parts of our state, other parts of the Southeast, but to our country as a whole. Dr. Brussels, we thank you for your intellect, your passion, your unwavering commitment to our city. You leave this council better than you found it. You set a high bar for excellence and community focus. Your excellence, your legacy will continue to inspire young women across our country, also AAPI leaders across South Carolina, across the nation, because of your presence at the National League of Cities and being on that board. And so with that, we have a couple small items we'd like to share with you as a gift on your last meeting at Columbia City Council. The floor is yours, Dr. Brussels.
I know y'all are here for a lot of other issues, but I'm going to take advantage of a crowd to say my part as I end this exciting chapter. Today is not an ending. It is a moment to take a breath, like I just did, and look how far we've come. When I first raised my hand wearing a fabulous purple coat right after COVID and took my oath at inauguration 5 years ago, I believed that public service should feel human. I believe that it should start with listening. I believe that local government could be bold and still be compassionate. I believe that leadership worked best when it invited people in and didn't exclude people. Being here the last 4 years has only confirmed that for me. If anything, it's made my belief and purpose stronger. This campaign happened in one of the toughest seasons of my life, but I walked through it. And when I think back on it, this is not what stays with me. What stays with me is the purpose. Hard seasons have a way, actually, of clarifying why you showed up in the first place. I will always remember knocking those doors, walking through neighborhoods and hearing not just about what was not working, but was also working. I also remember seeing you all at Food Truck Fridays, families sitting together, small businesses doing well, neighbors staying a little longer because the city felt alive. I will remember people stopping me at grocery stores, on sidewalks, and at community events saying, "Here's what I love, but here's what you can do better." This is what democracy looks like on a local level, and honesty is what made the city better. It also made me better. From the start, I knew the best ideas were going to come from all of you. So some of the initiatives that I took part in, like Lock It Up Columbia or Columbia's first Black Maternal Health Week, actually came from you. I've printed out the emails to remind myself that the best ideas come from the people. My job was never to have all the answers, but it was to listen well enough to act. So to the staff at the City of Columbia, thank you. Thank you for daydreaming with me and for allowing me to be super annoying about social media. Because I know you all recognize how important it is for us to tell our story and all the great things that we are doing. Ideas do not turn into reality without people willing to do the work day in and day out. You all brought professionalism, creativity, and a heart to everything you touched. If something worked, it was because all of you made it happen. To my colleagues on council, thank you for your partnership. We did not always agree, but we shared the same responsibility of moving the city forward and to serve the people well, leave it better than we found it. And I challenge you to continue to do that because that matters more than any single vote. I'm proud of what we've accomplished together. We've strengthened the community, expanded opportunity, supported small businesses, and showed people that local government is the magic. It can feel accessible and real. Progress does not have to be loud to last. It just has to be intentional. And the work we started here is not finished. So as I step away from this role, I do so with gratitude, with peace, and with real optimism. This is not about me closing a door. It is about carrying forward everything this experience has taught me. I may be stepping away from this seat, but I'm not stepping away from this city. I've learned enough here to be very patient about what comes next. Columbia's future is bright because people are engaged, thoughtful, and not afraid to imagine more. This city certainly changed me. It definitely challenged me. And once a city does that, it never really lets you go. So thank you to all of you for placing your trust in me. I hope that you see that I gave it my heart and soul these last 4 years. Thank you for believing in me and for believing in a leadership that's rooted in humanity and for loving this outsider and making her feel that she's come home. So to all of you, ever forward.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if there were any additional comments for this period with Dr. Bustle's final meeting. I know I had gotten some requests for folks to speak, but I don't know if they still wanted to do that.
Chief Jenkins?
Mayor, council, city manager, thank you for this opportunity. I just want to present something to Dr. Bustles. I know she and I had a real unique relationship. We were always talking about how we at the same place at the same time, how we knew different people. So I just wanted to present something to you. First of all, I want to present you with our 120-year commemorative patch from the department, 120 years. But also I want to present something else to you. This is a coin that we only give to members of our department. It's a special coin. And if anybody else got it, either I gave it to them or I don't know how they got it. If they're not a member of the fire department. But there's also another special coin that I only give for certain reasons. It got some comments on it on one side, dedication and all that good stuff. But on one side, it says excellent. And I only give this coin, this is the Chief's coin. I only give it out for excellent. I have given out very few of these coins, but I'm proud to give it to you today. But the last thing I want to do is, so I'm going to read this. It says, this certifies that Councilwoman Dr. Artie Bustle is recognized as an honorary member of the Columbia Fire Department. And I had the pleasure of signing this for you. So I want to present you with this certificate at this time.
CPD, what you got?
That means you can get called in the middle of the night to show up. Volunteer. Chief Holbrook?
Since I got called out, I have something. So Ms. Wilson, Mayor, if I may, Dr. Bustles, let's get something clear. First of all, we're not making you an honorary police officer, okay? No, I'm very privileged to stand here and recognize your extraordinary service to this city, the trailblazer that you are. And it's my honor to present you on behalf of the Police Department the Chief's Award for Excellence, and it's presented to Councilwoman Dr. Aditi Bustles in recognition for your unwavering support and contributions to the advancement of the Columbia Police Department. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, Council, as you all witnessed this past year, Black Expo had unprecedented success addressing some of the health concerns of the citizens of the great city of Columbia. And I wanted to publicly thank Dr. Bustles for challenging me to use this event to continue to empower our citizens and particularly addressing those health concerns. Very grateful. As 2 weeks ago, we had our holiday drop-in. Councilman Brown was there to give comments. We thank him. But I'd be remiss if I did not come before you today to say thank you to this young lady for challenging me to make this event what it is for the great citizens of Columbia. Thank you.
Was there anyone else while you're here? I know there were several folks here, and obviously the chiefs are here. Madam.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Well, we certainly, on behalf of the staff, Dr. Bustles, appreciate your service and wish you the very best going forward. Moving on with our presentations for this evening, we have item number 2, Finally Finley, by Ms. Jennifer Bartel Boykin, our city poet laureate. And Mr. Mayor and Council, Ms. Boykin was not able to join us during the grand reopening, but I do believe that it is certainly worthy of the time today for us to share the poem that she has.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Well, we certainly, on behalf of the staff, Dr. Bustles, appreciate your service and wish you the very best going forward. Moving on with our presentations for this evening, we have item number 2, Finally Finley.
I always like hearing what I sound like. Thank you, Chaz. We will move forward, as I said, with Finally Finley, and I'm not sure if our poet laureate is here, but if she is, we would love for her to come forward upon completion of the video.
I always like hearing what I sound like.
Sounded like.
Thank you, Chaz. Finley. We will move forward, as I said, with Finally Finley. I'm not sure if our poet laureate is here, but if she is, we will have her to come forward on completion of the video.
Peace down by the stream, yawning forth with a stretch of yoga. Pickleball game picked up a hill to
Mr. Mayor, if you all would like to take up the consent agenda items while we work through some technical difficulties, would you like for me to move
I
you
think
forward?
that might be a good thing.
Okay.
Finally Finley. Finally Finley. A second life well lived, a gift we didn't know we needed. The nest of a park for rest and joy, for quiet from the noise, peace down by the stream, yawning forth with a stretch of yoga. Pickleball game picked up a hill to roll down or a quick workout, a strolling walk, a place to vibe to music or enjoy a fun festival, a place to comfort or soothe. Our place, our park for our people. A Carolina wind rests on its nest, watching over us. Its loud whistled notes call to us to more, call us to be better. This place of rock, water, and soil. This place to shake from where we rise the dust of the day and bask in what the sun has to offer. I think on the wind, her wings waiting for a wind, her ears prickling with the sounds of children's laughter, her eyes brooding over the people coming Poet Laureate position. Oh, should I start over? I feel blessed to live in a city that loves its poets so much that it has established a Poet Laureate position. Thank you to the City of Columbia, especially to Scott Garrick, Parks and Recreation. Special thanks to City Parks architect Todd Martin, who showed me blueprints and gave me early access to the then under construction Finley Park. Thank you, Xavier Blake at One Columbia for Arts and Culture, for your undying support and advocacy for arts in Columbia. Thank you to my partner Lester Boykin at New Sky Film Productions for capturing the essence of the park. Like Finley Park, poetry is for everyone. Let us continue to use our words to heal ourselves and one another. The vibrant poetry community in Columbia and I look forward to writing more poems about our fair Columbia. Love and blessings to everyone this holiday season.
Jennifer, you did an exceptional job, and it's certainly worth the wait for us to share with our community. We hope that there'll be printed copies. I know Mr. Mayor is asking about that, so we'll work with you and Xavier on that. And I do think that Jennifer certainly captures the essence of the park. And as she said, our Columbia, what we had yesterday may not be what you see tomorrow. And I would say that that is certainly timely as this council is going to be looking at many, many worthy projects, some on this agenda today. You can rest assured, just like Finley Park, they're going to be done right. They're going to be done with integrity, and they are certainly being done in the light of day. And so we are looking forward to the approvals, just as we did and delivered on Finley Park, delivering on many exceptional projects going forward, starting today on this agenda. And with that, Mr. Mayor and Council, I want to take another moment of personal privilege to recognize a very special member of the city team who's been a ride or die with us for a long time, 14 years, but has reached the point in her career where she wants to retire. And so I want to welcome and ask Assistant City Manager Pamela Benjamin to come forward to be recognized. Pamela has been a big part of so many of our projects, and we want to recognize her today. So if you want to have any words, now's the time as we bring forward something to recognize your service, if you can. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone for your friendship and your love. It's been a long adventure, our 14 years. We've been through a lot. But at the core of it all, we are here to serve the citizens. I want to thank Ms. Wilson for her amazing leadership. I am in awe of her every day. I want to thank all the ACMs, all the department heads, everybody who's made this such a special place to me. I'm going to miss everybody, and I love everybody, but you all are going to be on my calendar for weekly lunches and dinners and all the things. I'm not leaving Columbia, so I'll be around. And yeah, that's all I have to say is thank you.
So we know she's a fashionista and she loves beautiful things. So this is a tribute to you, my sister, my friend, and our colleague. We love you. Yes. And I will say today, as we send off two exceptional women, women have strength like no other. So I know that both of these women, we will meet again. We don't burn bridges, and we're going to see all these great things that both of you all are going to be doing in our city and beyond. Yes, yes. Amen. Mr. Mayor, thank you.
No, thank you.
Our consent agenda consists of items 3 through 18.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. I do want to just take the opportunity to highlight this agenda at the end of the year has a lot of things in it. And our support for our entrepreneurial growth here with our incubator, for medical services, for our employees here locally, investing in our departments, the roof, things like roof replacements at Hyatt Park, the capital improvements that are being done in our parking garages, the investment in our infrastructure. I mean, we're doing a lot of things at the same time, but constantly investing. But one that is not on this consent agenda that's coming up and that we've waited for decades to happen is the riverfront planning and master design plan that's happening. 19 respondents from around the globe took the opportunity to want to be part of something that uniquely changes our riverfront, an opportunity for us to open access that hasn't been there, and an opportunity for us really to have a gathering which will tie into this 27 miles of trail, and the opportunity for all citizens to feel that river and be part of it. And as it connects and we end up all the way at the dam and back to Granby and through the town, it connects in that urban trail that we've been looking for. So we're very excited about that. With that, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles? Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The consideration of bids, contracts, and change orders begins with item 19. As Mayor Rickaman referenced, this is the item where council is asked to approve a new professional services contract for the Riverfront Project Plan and Design Master Plan as requested by City Administration on January 13th, 2025. The award is to Field Operations LLC in an amount not to exceed $1,690,553, which includes contingency. The initial term of the contract will take effect upon issuance of the notice to proceed with an end date 1 year from commencement and the option to renew for 2 additional 1-year periods. This firm is located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Mayor, motion to approve.
So got a motion and a second. I do want to, before we take the vote, I want to take an opportunity to thank some individuals in the crowd. I'd like to thank George Bailey and the Boyd Family Foundation, who is an intricate part for 2 decades working on this, but also investing not only their time and effort, but funding behind to make these type of projects happen in our community. George, I wanted to thank you and the Boyd family and invite you up to say something after the vote. And then, of course, our former Assistant City Manager, Missy Gentry, who was very tenacious and not willing to give up on this project, even after we were turned down for so many different grants and opportunities for this, and we came together. Also want to thank the Richland County Council and the penny sales tax, which also played an intricate part in making this happen. So we're very excited with that. With that, we're going to take a vote. And George, I didn't know if you wanted to say something on behalf of the Boyd Foundation or anything. After the vote, you got it. Also, Key, I don't see him here, but Charlie Thompson and the entire Ginyard family, this would not happen without them donating property and making it happen, and his willingness to wait to get the right project. And it reminded me of what Joe Riley said when he created the Design Institute within the U.S. Conference of Mayors. It says it's better to wait 10 years on planning than spend 100 years unwinding something. Well, we've waited 20 years, but it's happening. And it's going to be an absolute incredible piece to our community. With that, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Bailey, would you like to say something?
And as George comes forward, Mr. Mayor, we certainly know what a journey it has been, and the journey continues. We're excited. On the agenda, it does reference a special presentation, Mr. Mayor, so you knew to call Mr. Bailey on up, and his efforts on behalf of the Boyd Foundation are truly appreciated. The staff and the Boyd Foundation, the University of South Carolina, the University of South Carolina Foundation, Missy, it's just been a team effort. And I know Richland County is also going to be involved in this effort even more so going forward. And so this contract that you just approved is for the design work. And I know Mr. Bailey wants to speak to the going forward after that with a special presentation regarding construction.
Well, Teresa's kind of covered the waterfront of all the people that are involved in this, but it is our pleasure to work with everyone on this project and finally see this project coming to fruition. And as an opener, I've got a check here for $5 million to the city of Columbia. There will be more to come.
Wow. Just casual, tiny check.
Do we trust anybody with that check?
Picture of that check.
Who'd we give that check
We
to?
better be able to trust the CFO and assistant city manager. We
He
got a
took that
problem.
quick, too.
I don't know, he's already making his way to the door.
Door has been raised, so if you get called up, you better pony up.
100%.
Any more speakers?
Yeah. Well, that was a mic drop moment, and we knew it was coming because the Boyd Foundation and Charlie Thompson and the Ginyard family have been only about excellence and waiting for the right time. And the time is right now with everything else that is going on in our city. So George and family, thank you very, very much. Much appreciated.
Mr. Mayor, now I see why he wanted the vote to go forward first.
I think I'd hold the check too.
Thank you. We will move forward, it's hard to do after that, with our resolutions. And the first is also related to this project, item 20, resolution number R 2025-085, authorizing the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding between the city of Columbia and Richland County for the Riverfront District.
Mr. Mayor, so move. Second.
We got a motion, a double motion and a double second for that. I do want to say this is why it's very important for us to continue to work together both with the county and the city. By creating this district, we're planning ahead for the future of this park and the maintenance of it, not trying to figure it out on the back end, but planning for it in the front end and capturing some of that growth and reinvesting it in there so that we don't end up with a beautiful park in the beginning and something that is not being maintained or can't be maintained. So this is very important for us to be thinking together along with all our partners and planning ahead as we get into the stages of the planning, but also for the execution. So with that, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles? Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you. And Mr. Mayor, again, I would ask that all the partners that are here, if they would please stand and be recognized. I don't want to miss anyone. I know Jason with the foundation. I'm not sure if they're here. Is there anyone else here? Missy, George, were recognized. We've had partners beforehand, the William Street Extension Project will be moving forward as well. So we know the Midlands Business Leadership Group and our state legislature, like I said, Richland County, everyone has been on board, and we don't want to leave anyone out because we're very thankful for everyone's participation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Starting our public hearing and first reading for zoning planning matters, the annexation, future land use map amendment, and zoning map amendment for 5603, 5607, and 5615 Old Forest Drive is item 21. I know Andrew Livingood will come forward to assist with the zoning public hearing.
Sure thing, and to be clear, I do not have a check. Yeah. Yeah, so the first item on public hearing is the annexation. Well, I will not read that again. So this is a request to annex the property and to assign the land use classification of Urban Edge Regional Activity Center, UEAC 2, and assign zoning of General Commercial District, GC, for a pending annexation. The property is currently classified as mixed residential, high density, and zone general commercial by Richland County.
This was a donut hole, correct?
And actually, I apologize, it looks like this is the wrong slide. Oh, here we go, sorry. This is kind of a donut hole. It is bound by the city on some sides and 4 acres on the other side.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against this item? Yes, sir. Please come to the podium.
Good evening. I'm the developer, so I'm here to answer any questions, but if any facts need to be laid out, I'm happy to do so.
Is there any questions from council? Is there anybody any other folks speak for or against this item?
No one has signed up.
All right. Is there a motion, Mr. Brown?
Motion for approval. Second.
Second by Mr. Bailey. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Okay, the next item is an annexation, future land use map amendment and zoning map amendment for 101 or a portion thereof, 119 and 125 Lake Murray Boulevard. And this is a request to annex the property, assign the land use classification of Urban Edge Mixed Residential, and assign zoning of residential Mixed District RM2 for a pending annexation. The property is currently classified as mixed residential high density and zoned residential R3 by Richland County.
Is there anybody here to speak for this project or against this project?
Mayor, Mr. Charlie Hager has signed up to speak.
All right.
Yep, I'm Tyler Watson. I'm with the developer. Charlie Hager's our civil engineer. We brought him as well. Happy to answer any questions or any clarification if needed.
Does council have, I know Ms. Herbert's not here, but Mr. Bailey?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, what are some of your plans for this area?
Yeah, so the main plan is 300 garden apartment units offered at basically the same rates that are offered today. We recently completed an apartment project in Lexington County off of Lake Murray Boulevard, the station at Lake Murray. Plan to do something similar, but a little bit more upscale than that. And then there'll be a potential townhome or single family portion for whatever's remaining on the site.
And this is near the Broad River interchange if you're heading on the backside of towards 26?
Yeah, so it's right where Lake Murray Boulevard starts. So right next to the fire station that's owned by the city.
And that's a city fire station there, correct?
Yeah.
Council, any other questions? Was there anyone else signed up to speak, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is that a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
That brings us to our next item, which is 2430 Chappelle Street and an unincorporated portion of 2428 Chappelle Street. And this is a request to annex the property assigned a land use classification of urban core residential small lot and assign zoning of residential single-family medium lot for pending annexation. The property is currently classified as mixed residential high density and zoned residential 5 by Richland County.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against this item?
Item 23.
Reverend McDowell, this is District 2.
So moved.
You got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Reverend? Second by Mr. Bailey. Since no one else is here to speak for or against this item, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
The next item on our agenda is a parcel at the 1700 block of Rosewood Drive and Fulton Street. And this is a request to rezone the property from Neighborhood Activity Center / Corridor District in the city's Airport Safety Overlay District to Neighborhood Activity Center Corridor District. And so this is a request to remove the Airport Safety Overlay District, which is a city zoning classification.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson, Ms. Hammond, I'd like to have the public hearing tonight, but defer the vote upon legal staff's review of the Aeronautics Commission letter that city staff and city council received, if that's possible.
Just for the record, staff approved and public, the planning commission approved, but we received that letter this week. And so I do think it's pertinent for us to make sure that there's no concerns there. And if we could get that done, that would be great. But I would go ahead with the public hearing. So if there's anyone here to speak for or against this item,
We have two individuals signed up to speak. Mr. Peter Savalas.
Yes. And just for the sake of clarification, staff recommendation was denial, but the planning commission recommended approval.
it was what?
Denial.
Okay. It says staff sponsored. We need to be clear. Either you're
It's
with
number
it.
25. You're looking at number 24.
Yeah.
Number 24.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at the same thing, Mayor.
I'm moving too fast for my own good.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Sir.
I'm Peter Savalas, Airport General Manager for the Jim Hamilton L.B. Owens Airport. I'm speaking on the matter of this against it. The Jim Hamilton L.B. Owens Airport is one of Columbia's greatest community assets. As a general aviation facility, it connects our city to businesses and opportunities across the region and beyond. Corporate aircraft flying into Owens every day bring leaders, investors, and visitors who strengthen Columbia's economy and helps our community thrive. These activities strengthen Columbia's competitiveness, fosters economic growth, and ensures the region remains connected to the national and global markets. Richland County, who I work for, stewardship of the airport carries a dual responsibility: protecting the safety of the aircraft operations and ensuring the airport remains a trusted community partner. The Airport Safety Overlay District is a critical tool in fulfilling this responsibility. By limiting incompatible residential intensifications within the inner approach zone, the overlay safeguards pilots, passengers, and nearby residents while preserving the operational integrity of the airport. Removing this overlay will allow multifamily residential developments in the close proximity to the airport's approach path, increasing in density and in building heights beyond the current 35-foot cap. Such changes could compromise safety, conflict with the South Carolina Aeronautics Commission's guidance under Title 55, and create long-term challenges for the airport's operations. The airport's value extends well beyond aviation. It's a community partner that supports local businesses and serves as a gateway for visitors and investors. Protecting the safety of the aircraft operation is essential to ensuring that the airport can continue serving residents, businesses, and visitors reliably. By maintaining the safe land use around the airport, we preserve its role as a gateway for growth and a partner for the community. Thank you.
Before you leave, I gotta ask, I'm looking at this property on the map. It's up on the upper side of Rosewood.
Yes, sir.
You know, I don't understand how this impacts the travel when I'm looking at the area as a whole for this parcel, where it's located and the distance from the airport. Can you explain it a little bit to me? Because I'm having a hard time understanding why this would affect anything to do with the landing patterns.
It serves as call it a bellwether or marker. If we remove the overlay, take away the overlay district off of this property, technically the property does sit at a little bit higher elevation than the beginning of the runway. So the cap that we have on it, that the ordinance, your ordinance requires, that 35-foot cap, is actually closer to the approach level, the approach angle that the airplanes come over. And in general, it would be a land use issue, allowing airplanes to recognize that airplanes will be coming overhead, landing, approaching the airfield from the north side.
But I guess where I'm, and I'm trying to be educated because it's a little confusing. But across the street is Rosewood Hill, which is elevated 2 stories and higher up, and this is on the other side of that. So,
Yes, sir, I understand, but it's grandfathered in already. It's already in place. We're trying to slow down any new developments to impinge on that cap.
So it's a height issue for you? It's not?
In part, yes, sir. And then it's also an issue of, we want to make sure we want to be good partners. And as the airport activity continues to grow, we want to make sure that they're well aware that we've got airplanes that could be potentially coming overhead.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mayor, Mr. John Hodge signed up to speak as well.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'm John Hodge. I represent the South Carolina Aeronautics Commission. I appreciate the opportunity to present to you this evening. Mr. Bennett, and I do also appreciate your willingness to defer the vote until you've had legal advice on the matter. I just want to say, why is a state agency, the Aeronautics Commission is a state agency, why is a state agency interested in a parcel of land being rezoned down on Rosewood Drive? Because the South Carolina Code says that the land use decisions by county and municipal governments and local agencies shall take into account the presence of airport land use zones and airport safety zones and consult with the Division of Aeronautics prior to making decisions affecting activities in those zones. Now, by virtue of the Planning Commission's removing the airport overlay district from this parcel, you essentially are you're contravening state law. And it's a really problematic kind of precedential decision if you choose to do that. You may end up with spot zoning. Next time a case comes up and you've got an issue, you can put another hole in your airport overlay district and you ultimately contravene the state law. So our concern is that the Planning Commission did not consider the presence of the zones when they made their decision. At least it appears that way. I mentioned spot zoning. It's really an issue when you remove parcels from the zone, and it's inconsistent with state law, with Title 55, and that could be viewed also as being non-compliant. And I would say that there are also grant assurances when the county gets a grant for infrastructure for the airport. There are certain responsibilities, and those extend to the city to make sure there's proper zoning to protect the public investment in the airport. So our concern really is that this is a bad precedent to exempt, in other words, to remove the overlay zone there. I do think the applicant's interest could be served in other ways that maybe would not necessarily require removal of the zone. So we would ask you at this point to deny the application and not to remove the airport overlay zone. And Mr. Mayor, just to respond to your question to the airport manager, I will say that we have development around airports that's grandfathered in. We can't change that. But with Title 55, when 2012 it was amended, state law was amended, and the whole concept is to to try to put standards so there's compatible development near our airports. In other words, you don't want to put people in close proximity to aircraft. And I do agree that this project is a bit far up Rosewood Drive, but there's also a rising elevation from the airport there, and that does affect aircraft approach and departure patterns. But nonetheless, I think there may be another way to accomplish what the applicant wants, but it should not be through removing the airport overlay zone. That's a slippery slope you just don't want to go down. Thank you. Any questions?
Sir.
Yes, so 2012 was the grandfather year that he's referring to?
That's when the state code was adopted. And so development, in other words, the Aeronautics Commission looks at existing development and says, okay, we can't change that, it's already there. But let's say someone goes back and wants to redevelop it, or there's a new building permit for another activity. Over time, that airport area around the airport will change from a land use standpoint. And as people come in for building permits and for zoning changes and those sorts of things, then ultimately that the compatibility standards will apply to new development, but not to old development. And that's the idea that we try to look toward. And the Aeronautics Commission also believes it's up to local communities to protect their airports, which means the city and the county both.
Do you know, is it a priority for the county to invest in the infrastructure of the airport? And what is investing in infrastructure at an airport, a local county airport, look like?
In terms of the investment that's there?
There's always been talk of extending the runway.
Well, there's instrument approaches, there's lighting, there's the runway, there's the drainage, there are airport businesses. Chris Eversman, the director of the airport development for the Aeronautics Commission, is seated here tonight, and he may
knows
want
the
to
master plan very well.
Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, sir, could I ask you to repeat the question, please?
What's the timeline for expansion of the runway?
The FAA at this point has not bought in or approved the study to extend the runway. That is not a lost hope, and possibly with a recent project that is underway at the airport with FAA sponsorship to review all of the existing standards and their compliance. Hopefully, the ability to expand the runway will come up again and be supported in the future. But I would just say that just because that is on pause does not mean that either the FAA or the state are not supporting the airport. There is a over $7 million project that is getting ready to go underway for the reconstruction of the taxi lanes. So investment in CUB continues, and we do hope that someday the runway will be extended.
Right. So, and you're very familiar with the Railroad Assembly Street project that's coming up, that's going to unlock development opportunities, private investment for wonderful things along that lower Rosewood and Assembly corridor. How is this moving forward? It sounds like we need to put our heads together about what a future development plan looks like for our needs and our wants as it's developed around the fairgrounds, all the state property, and on into Assembly Street, which is a major corridor for future development in our eyes. So how do we compare notes and work towards that so stuff like this doesn't pop up in the future to halt quality investment?
I look upon the job of the Aeronautics Commission to kind of be a facilitator. And, we have a situation here. I'm not going to say it's unique, but we have a governmental entity that where the county, or excuse me, where the airport lays, and 90% plus of the area surrounding the airport, but you're not the airport sponsor. So we need to make sure that we've got all of the stakeholders involved. The state certainly can and is dedicated to facilitating that. And I think that the airport sponsor as well, they're taking on the review of the standards at the airport so that hopefully we can realize that expansion in some future date. But you're absolutely right. It's not just about the existing perimeter. We got to think in terms of 3 dimensions with the airspace issues, and we are ready at any time to assist with that. And I would be remiss if I did not compliment the city's planning department and their application of and their awareness of the CLUE tool and Title 55 and compatible development. We really do enjoy that good relationship. We wish, it's a model, we wish we had it elsewhere in the state.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I got a
Hold
couple,
on.
Mr. Mayor,
Well, hold on.
I just don't want them to leave.
Huh?
I want them to leave.
You want to
yet.
ask them
Yeah.
another question? Because I know that we've got the applicant wants to speak as well.
Yeah,
so-
sure. Just curious, how many planes take off and land a day at Jim Hamilton Airport?
Yes, sir. I think the airport the airport general manager would be better suited to answer that. The number that we used to use, which was very high, was something on the order of 56,000 operations per year. Now, that is a takeoff or a landing. But it is one of our major general aviation airports here in South Carolina. In terms of number of based aircraft, it's one of the largest. So maybe that kind of gives you an idea as to the level of activity. And
Thank you.
One more question, Mr. Mayor. What type of planes typically fly out of Jim Hamilton? Land or take off?
yes, sir. So the airport has a classification of B2, and that addresses the type of aircraft that predominantly take off and land at the airport. That is not a hard and fast limit, but it kind of gives you an idea. General aviation aircraft, corporate aircraft, smaller jets, recreational aircraft, those are the types that you see based at CUB and patronizing it. And as the airport general manager said, that, corporate and business aircraft, university, sports recruiters, they all use that type of airport with great regularity.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor, we also have Ashu Kumar signed up to speak.
And he is right here.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you very much. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to just come in front of you all to say in front of City Council. Thank you, Mr. Livingood. My name is Ashu Kumar. I'm the owner of Kumar Construction. I am a general contractor specialized in South Carolina, especially. I'm representing the owner of 1700 Rosewood Drive, which is Mr. Tucker. What he wants to do, he just wants to make one 3-story single-family home. That's all he wants to do it. It's an apartment, 3 stories, that's it, and which I would say the aeronautic says that it has to be in the conditional determination, and that's what we're going to follow it.
Yeah, so here's the issue. It's a height issue. So what other option does he have besides going 3 stories? Because Andrew, tell me correct, this is the bottom line, this is the issue that we're talking about. So there could be another design. I'm sorry? Yeah. Excuse me.
So the overlay has 2 main requirements on this. The one requirement is the hard 35-foot height limit, but the other requirement is that you are not allowed to put residential units on non-residentially zoned properties.
I mean, I hate to tell you this, but Rosewood is full of residential property.
I understand.
Going down
I
both
understand.
sides.
So that is a restriction that we, the city, put in there. There are non-residential zone properties in industrial EC closer to the airport. And so that is part of the reason. This certainly is further away. The other option that Mr. Kumar has is to request a rezoning to RM2, which is across the street, that does kind of break up the NAC corridor there. But that would be another option. It would have a density limit on it. NAC does not have a density limit. So as many units as can be fit on there would be allowed if this overlay was removed.
My suggestion to you, sir, would be we either are going to defer this, which it looks like it's going to get a denial based on these restrictions with the aeronautics. And there has to be a way to fix this, because my suggestion is you withdraw tonight. You get with our staff and you figure out the appropriate way that you can, there's a way to do something here. But I'm telling you, the way it sits right now and what you're proposing is not going to be allowed. And if we deny it, that means you can't come back here for a year, right?
Not with the same request.
With the same with Crest. So 2 options: we can defer it, but you're going to have to refile anyway, correct? To change a different.
To defer it doesn't require refiling, but if he wants to do a different request, that would require a new application, yes.
I'm giving you a better option to figure out something along with our staff that could make sense for this, because you're caught in a rock and a hard place here. So are we, unfortunately. And, you know, I'm be honest, I don't 100% agree with the fly pattern. This is way away from the airport. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And there's a million examples I could show in between, but we got to figure out something here for the future, and understanding where the growth and everything's going as well. So we need to have a conversation with the city. I would suggest, sir, that we can defer it, and you can tell us at the next meeting what you want to do, but we're not going to vote on it tonight. We'll give you that, but if we do vote, it's going to be a denial.
But across the street, it got an approval also.
Mr. May.
I said across the street, they got an approval also. Across the street from 1700 Rosewood, they already got an approval of rezoning it. Or I would say getting out of this.
Sure, I can address that. Mr. Kumar is referring to the property across South Pickens Street. That is the old Eye of the Cat property, which was a residential structure. It was rezoned from commercial to residential, and actually also at the same time removed from the overlay. I think it was a couple of years ago. The intent was to convert the property into a duplex, which was a use that was not allowed in the district at the time. So that's a property at the northwest corner of South Pickens.
What is that zoned? It doesn't have.
Right now, it's zoned RM2. So it's a high density multifamily. So it's the same zoning district that would apply to the portion of Rosewood Hills across Rosewood from this property.
Well, I think it's clear we're going to have to look at that history as well as clear it with our legal. So
I think we defer the item, and then let's get with staff and look at these items to make sure, because there's a quandary here of decision making, and you're going to need to be involved in those conversations. Is there a motion?
Mayor, we did have one more individual.
Oh, I'm
signed up to
sorry.
speak.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Miss Bree Barano, and she may or may not wish to speak.
But I mean, we can defer it.
Hi, apologies. I went ahead and created a statement. It sounds like you guys are creating a path forward, so I will not read the whole thing. But I just wanted to thank you for your time and consideration. My name is Bree Barano. I'm a senior aviation planner, so this is what I do for work all day, every day. And I'm also the vice chairman of the Richland County Airport Commission, which is the advisory board for Jim Hamilton L.B. Owens. I'm speaking to you today on behalf of the chair and the other members of the commission. The concern here is not with development in general. We are not opposed to the safe development of the community, We just wanted to urge you to set the precedent that this development occurs in partnership with the pre-existing infrastructure and ordinances, which include the Airport Overlay District, which is there not only to protect the airport and the flying public, but those of us on the ground and all of the community as well. So as a resident of the community, aviation planning professional, and vice chairman at the airport, I would just ask you to leave the overlay in place for the protection of our community so that we can find a better way forward in a partnership. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that, Madam Clerk. I did not know we had 3 people signed up. Yeah.
All right, that's it.
So we're going to take a motion to defer.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is a text amendment, and it is a request to amend the Unified Development Ordinance, also known as a UDO, Chapter 17, Article 9, Definitions and Rules of Measurement. And it is to clarify the definitions of townhome, multifamily, and two-family dwellings. And basically, right now, townhomes, multifamily, and two-family are defined as a building type. And it's nice in a way because it neatly aligns with the building code. However, our UDO also provides allowances and protections for duplexes, single-family, and townhomes that are not in place for multifamily. And likewise, there's also sometimes greater requirements. So for example, when we're talking about parking, if one is developing a townhome-style multifamily development, they're required to provide 2 parking spaces versus the 1.75, which is the standard for multifamily. And so what this would do, and there's already some kind of guidance in the UDO already, is it would clarify that a townhome is a unit built on an individual lot. Of course, it's it's at least 3 units joined together on these smaller lots. And the same thing with the duplex, as the duplex exists on an individual lot. And it would also say that something that has 3 or more units on a single lot is multifamily. So it wouldn't eliminate any of these building types, and people would still be able to do it, but it would clarify that when one is building multiple townhomes on an individual lot, that is multifamily. And so that the developers know what standards they have to develop to, but also it basically implements what actually the ordinance was asking for in the first place. So for example, a townhome, the minimum lot size is 8,000 square feet to develop a townhome development. And then it does call for, I believe it's 1,500 square foot lots at a minimum. And so, and if one was going to do I may be repeating myself here, but a multifamily development that is townhome style, that is certainly welcome. But then it would just be developed according to multifamily standards.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against this amendment to our Unified Development Ordinance?
No one has signed up.
Council, any questions or concerns? I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor.
Got a motion, is there a second? Second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Okay, this next item is another text amendment. And I will not read through this alphabet soup here, but the short version of it is this is a text amendment to, again, amend the Unified Development Ordinance. And this is to set up the replacement for our current DDRC. And this would establish two separate commissions. One would deal with historic properties, and one would deal with properties that are within our design districts, including our new downtown Columbia design district. And this is something that was a recommendation of the recent planning process.
I will say that if there's anybody to speak for or against this, please come forward. But I will tell you that this was stemmed out from a lot of community conversations over the years, and separating the commercial from the historic neighborhoods was very important for a lot of folks in the community to ensure that we're really having folks expertise in those areas. Madam Clerk, is
No one has signed up.
there anybody to speak for or against this item? I didn't think there would be, but
Mr. Mayor, so move.
is there a motion second? A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, this next item is, again, a text amendment. And this is a request to amend the Unified Development Ordinance to establish short-term rentals as a use category within the UDO, and to establish and clarify related definitions and standards. And so the short version is that short-term rentals, we're taking the essentially what is the existing definition from the city's current short-term rental standards, which are in Chapter 5 of the ordinance. And we're slightly modifying it to address some other uses that are already within the zoning ordinance, so to speak. And this would allow short-term rentals within commercial districts, mixed-use districts, our employment campus district, and conditionally in residential districts. And the two conditions are that the short-term rental would be on a street that is classified as arterial, and I believe it's both minor and major arterial, and or a collector street within our comprehensive plan. And the second part of the criteria is that it be on a street containing 4 lanes, 4 through lanes. And so these are lanes that continue the entire length of the block, not a turn lane, for example. And of course, the UDO would regulate the location of short-term rentals only. All the other standards remain within Chapter 5. And one other thing I did want to mention is in terms of nonconformities, any lawfully established short-term rental would still be permitted to remain as a nonconforming use within the ordinance, a provision that's already within our UDO, and until such time as it is abandoned.
Madam Clerk, start the timer and start the list.
Yes, sir. So that means we have a lot of people signed up to speak. We will remind all speakers that you have 3 minutes. Once you see the yellow blinking light, you have 30 seconds remaining, and we ask that you would wrap up your comments. We will start off with Ms. Katie Grubbs.
Hello.
Hey.
First, to start, I just want to thank Dr. Bustles and Ms. Benjamin on your time at the city. Your work that has, gone into the city of Columbia has not been unnoticed. So you've done a phenomenal job. But my name is Katie Grubbs again. I live in Columbia and I own a single family home here, actually in Rosewood, ironically near there actually. But I also work as a realtor in Columbia for homeowners, a lot of first-time homeowners looking for flexibility, families, small property owners just across the city in general. But I want to start by saying this clearly. Neighborhood concerns are real. No one wants constant noise. I know I don't. Unsafe behavior. No one wants that. We all agree with that. Or a revolving door of poorly managed rentals next to their home. Again, I know I don't, and I understand that, and I don't think anyone here is ignoring that reality. But I am here today because this proposal goes much further than addressing bad actors. It removes the flexibility for a lot of responsible homeowners and residents. Short-term rentals in Columbia aren't just used by investors. I work with a lot of investors and homeowners. You guys know that as well. But they are used by families coming in for USC graduations, move-in weekends, visitors for football games, major events, military families attending Fort Jackson graduations, travel nurses, medical professionals on short assignments, so shorter than 30-day contracts, parents visiting students or recent graduates transition into jobs, et cetera, a lot of major events and life changes that happen in the city. We already struggle with limited hotel capacity, especially during peak times. Anyone who's tried to book a place during a USC game weekend or graduation knows that. And now, especially with this agreement in the Riverfront Walk expansion, I mean, the city's investing in infrastructure that increases visitation and desirability. I've lived in Greenville for many years before moving back here. I grew up here. I saw the effects that Swamp Rabbit Trail expansion had. But at the same time, you know, it's considering policies that would reduce flexible housing options. So I do want to note that. And I agree these two things do need to be discussed. But short-term rentals have helped fill that gap without requiring new hotels to be built in residential neighborhoods. Again, as a homeowner myself in this area, the option to rent part of my home short-term, it does matter to me because I want to be able to, you know that I have that right to do that with my property. But not because I want to run a party house, but because of life changes. People rely on flexibility during job transitions, financial pressure, caring for family members, or simply to stay in their homes long-term and have that flexibility and option. But this proposal would eliminate that option in most residential areas moving forward, even for responsible owner-occupied situations. That's where I think we need to pause. I don't believe this has to be an all-or-nothing decision. Many cities have found middle ground through registration enforcement and clear standards rather than blanket zoning bans. But good policy usually lives in the middle, protecting neighborhoods while still respecting property rights in real-life use cases. We're growing, and growth comes with complexity. We're all seeing that firsthand, me as a realtor, but also, you know, y'all on the council. So I'm just asking that we slow this down and listen to homeowners and residents of the city.
Just to land the plane on that, your real point is about owner-occupied
Yes.
flexibility. I just want to make sure.
As someone who lives in Rosewood, again, a high-demand short-term area, I understand, you know, what comes with short-term rentals. I've stayed with them all throughout the state. In Greenville, when I visited to go biking on the Swamp Rabbit Trail, you know, in USC when I didn't live here, and I came back to visit family and friends. But you know, now that I'm an actual resident of Columbia, and I grew up here too. Grew up a Carolina fan, went to these games, you know, had friends and family visit it, stay in STRs. And so now it's you know, directly affecting me. I don't want to have to sell my home because I'm losing the opportunity to, you know, use it for an STR if I choose to do that one day. So, yes.
But there's a different, I just want to clarify, you want the flexibility as a homeowner, not down the road making it a secondary property. I just want to clarify the difference, because there's a difference, because you can't rent it more than 70 days as a homeowner, or it
Yes.
becomes a commercial taxable property.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I wanted to make sure which way if you were you're advocating for everything.
So, yes, for everyone is who I'm advocating
make
for.
sure.
But definitely, you know, as a homeowner, having the flexibility, especially as, you know, someone who that does have rooms available, that has the opportunity to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Gustavo Bueno.
Good evening, Mayor Hickman and members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm Gus. I moved to Columbia in 2020, and I'm also a short-term rental host. I'm not an outstate millionaire or hedge fund manager. I'm an individual that is risking everything to build the life that the American dream has promised. And I'm here to respectfully ask the City Council to revisit the ordinance that existed prior to the STR moratorium and allow it to operate with proper enforcement. I want to be very clear, this is not an argument against safety or neighborhood quality. Those goals are shared by everyone in this room. The question is how we best achieve them. When the STR ordinance was adopted, the understanding was that hospitality tax revenue would support enforcement. In practice, enforcement capacity was never fully built out. As a result, the ordinance was never truly tested. Today, there is no citywide data showing STRs are a systemic source of crime or disturbance. There are problem properties, and those should be addressed directly. But policy should be based on evidence, not isolated incidents. Columbia housing market today shows substantial active listings and normal days on market, so there is no shortage of properties to be bought by homeowners, which suggests that STRs are not removing housing at scale or driving affordability issues. At the same time, many local hosts rely on short-term rental income to offset rising costs from inflation, health challenges, or job disruption. These are not large investors, they are your constituents. I believe this council has consistently emphasized fairness, accountability, and data-driven decisions. Reinstating the prior ordinance, funding enforcement, and tracking real outcomes aligns with those principles far better than a blanket moratorium. I respectfully ask you to enforce the rules we already passed. Remove the bad actors and let the data, not assumptions, guide the next steps. So thank you for your time and service to our city.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Mr. J.D. Hollifield?
Hey guys, I'm JD Hollifield, and I own a couple STRs, and I don't really understand. I haven't followed the whole saga of what's gone on here. I've talked to some of my friends that have STRs as well, and they've kind of kept me a little bit up to date. But from my understanding of reading the existing ordinances, they seemed fair and pretty straightforward to me. A lot of people, if I tell them I own an Airbnb or something, they say like, oh my gosh, like, do people party in it? Like, you know, I don't know if I'd want that. I'm like, well, have you ever rented one? I do. I have 4 kids, and I can't stay in a hotel, right? Because if you have 4 kids, you're not gonna like go to sleep with them right beside you, right? At 7 p.m. So we rent those, and we don't throw parties when we go on vacation. We put our kids to bed like a normal family and live it out. And most people I talk to, once I tell them that, they're like, oh yeah, that's absolutely right. And I forgot your name, but like she said, you know, it's just a really good option for people that are traveling and for our investment properties. So alongside that, I buy a lot of properties that are severely distressed, and we make them into nice homes. Sometimes that costs a lot of money to get them up to the rate that we need to have them at. And that option to be able to make it an STR and make it a little bit nicer for that nicer area allows us to spend more money, make it a better property, and for us to be able to generate a return. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Laura Pinkley?
Good evening. My name is Laurel Pinkley. My partner Kelly and I live at 1106 Darlington Street, which is right next door to the short-term rental where a shooting occurred on November 15th. That night, the guests knocked on our door twice, once to let us know they were having a party, and the second around 9 p.m. to ask us not to call and let them know if they're being too loud. By late evening, people were still being dropped off and packed into a 700 square foot property. Police drove by once us and other neighbors reported the party but didn't intervene. We tried to go to sleep anyway. Around 11:45, we woke up to yelling and trash cans being knocked over. Then 3 gunshots just feet from where we sleep. We ran from our room and found the safest place we could and called 911. The first thing we did after was text our neighbors to make sure they were all safe. The next morning, we found broken items in our backyard from people jumping fences to escape. A magazine clip was found in the street, and our neighbor found a loaded gun in their backyard, the same yard where their 5-year-old plays. I'm sharing this because neighborhoods are supposed to be communities. We moved to Earlwood because of the sense of connection, the feeling that people look out for one another. On our block alone, we already have 3 short-term rentals and another waiting for the moratorium to be lifted. And with each one, that sense of community feels a little thinner. The STR property has 2 units. The front, an STR, and the back has a studio with a long-term renter, a USC student who luckily was out of town that weekend. To our knowledge, he wasn't contacted by the property manager or owners after the shooting, but we did. They didn't check on him, they didn't check on us, but we all as long-term neighbors came together in the days after to check on one another. That's what happens when a home becomes a business. There's no real stake in the community. What makes Columbia special is our neighborhoods. When we lose them, we lose what makes the city feel like home. I'm asking you not only to cap STRs, but strengthen enforcement and end single-night rentals. We can't sacrifice community and safety for businesses. Thank you for your time and considering the lived experiences of the residents you serve.
Thank you.
Ethan Mathis.
Could you,
Ethan Mathis.
Ethan Mathis?
Hello, Council. I just wanted to point out the principles of the matter, right? That if the purpose of government, if there's any purpose at all, is to protect the life, liberty, and property of individuals, right? This ordinance is an infringement on all 3, on the liberty of people to use their property to help their life or better their life as they see fit, right? Also, I think it's interesting that the investments that the City of Columbia makes are not so much investments, but a form of wealth distribution. Wealth distribution is also known as legal plunder, and in the words of Frederick Bastiat, who wrote The Law, when legal plunder becomes commonplace, what follows is what's known as rent seeking, which is the behavior to manipulate policies in order to protect themselves from legal plunder or to engage in it. And he also said that when this becomes commonplace, what we will see is fighting at the door of the legislative palace, which is what this place seems to be, and the fight seems to be upon us. So with that, I would urge you to consider the principle of the matter, life, liberty, and property, and who you serve. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
David Bergman.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. My name is David Bergman, Columbia small business owner and employer. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this tonight. This vote isn't about whether short-term rentals should be regulated. We have regulations and we put them in place and we strengthen them over the summer. The question before us today is whether Columbia needs to go to this extreme with our zoning restrictions and whether that is right for all 145,000 residents of the city. In today's economy, many homeowners rely on flexibility to stay in their homes, renting a spare bedroom, an in-law suite, an accessory dwelling. Those can be the difference between keeping up and falling behind. This proposal would remove that option for most residents unless they happen to live on a 4-lane road, a very narrow and arbitrary standard. At the same time, this council speaks regularly about affordability. Rightly so. We have housing pressures in our city. Removing income opportunities from residents, it's not a step in the right direction. These are our own residents trying to make ends meet in their own homes. And while there are many people in this room who probably don't need those options, they cannot and should not govern whether others have those tools at their disposal. We also heard clearly from Planning Commission by a 5-3 vote, they rejected this draft. This is your appointed land use advisory body telling this council that this is not the right approach for Columbia. Columbia already has a permitting system, operating standards, enforcement authority in place. And yes, enforcement could be better. And I've heard it's getting there. Earlier this year, David Hatcher, Director of Code Enforcement, stated that the primary challenge has been staffing, not the lack of rules. And we have not seen any data showing that short-term rentals create more issues proportionally than long-term rentals. I keep asking for that. It is also important to note that this 4-lane requirement was developed by zoning staff, and I didn't see any engagement with the public on this. And that may be why when we reviewed nearly every short-term rental zoning ordinance in the country, we couldn't identify another city where this approach has been tested and shown to work. Meanwhile, the public and many of your constituents have come forward with a reasonable alternative that has already been tested and shown to work throughout the state. A cap-based system is a market system that controls density, protects neighborhoods, and preserves homeowner flexibility. It is used in North Charleston, Mount Pleasant, Beaufort, Folly Beach, and it can be written directly into our existing ordinance, and it was actually already there. It was included in our original draft and supported by many on this council and neighborhood leaders. I would like to respectfully ask that we vote no to a zoning-based prohibition that goes further than necessary, and let's just explore common sense solutions that have worked in other areas of our state to protect neighborhoods while also preserving reasonable options for our residents.
Thank you, sir.
Matt Carroll.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council. My name is Matt Carroll. I've been asked to speak tonight on behalf of the Central Carolina Realtors Association. We at the CCRA respectfully oppose the proposed amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance regulating short-term rentals. We understand the desire to address neighborhood concerns, but this ordinance goes beyond regulation and instead reduces property rights for many homeowners by far too much. By limiting short-term rentals in residential areas based on street classification rather than zoning, the proposal creates unequal rights among similar properties and adds uncertainty to longstanding investment properties. We're especially concerned that many current lawful short-term rentals will be non-conforming uses. That changes reduces the property value and complicates financing, transferability, and undermines confidence in the stability of local land use policy. Responsible homeowners who have complied with existing city requirements should not face diminished rights due to a broad policy shift. The Realtor Association supports balanced solutions and protects neighborhoods while preserving homeowners' property rights and housing choices. We believe stronger enforcement of existing standards and targeted solutions are achievable and much more effective than broad zoning restrictions. We respectfully urge council to reject this proposal as written and examine stricter enforcement of existing standards while working with constituents. Thank you for your time and consideration. So that was a statement from the CCRA. Individually, I've spoken before, and just have a couple other points to make individually, separately from the CCRA. I currently own 0 short-term rentals. I owned 12 at one point. It was a business decision I made to change. And that was because of markets and things like that. I had the ability to do that as an individual. I will tell you that I've received multiple phone calls from people because those short-term rentals have now turned into long-term rentals. The neighbors around my long-term rentals now have called and asked that I make them back into short-term rentals. The short-term rentals, there's review requirements. Nobody wants to get bad reviews on a short-term rental. Very rare. Someone earlier mentioned that there's parties in short-term rentals. It's very, very rare. People wouldn't do it if there were parties all the time. However, I have long-term rentals that are college rentals. There's parties in those all the time. If you get a year of a bad long-term tenant, it's tough. You might get a bad short-term tenant for a weekend, and then they're on to the next one, and you get good the rest of the year, hopefully. The other thing that I think has not been considered is local families displaced by fire or flood or domestic violence or any of those things, taking their family and having a short-term place to go while their kitchen's renovated after a fire or something like that. It's very hard to move into a hotel for that time period. I hear all night, I've been listening to all the developments, Finley Park and the River District and all these things, the airport, and it's such progress for our city. And this just feels like a step backwards in the face of all this progress. All the visitors and all the things coming to our town, eliminating this really limits their places to go. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anna Herron.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
So I just want to talk about a few years ago when I was a young adult moving from apartment to apartment. I had a couple weeks in between my apartment leases, and I found a lady with her children that owned a home, and she let me use one of her rooms for, I think it was like 5 days in between, my apartment leases. So this ordinance would give me people like me fewer options in doing that. So I also want to say that if you want to protect your own neighborhoods, form an HOA. Those are like your mini governments, except they're voluntary. So you can put those, like ban your STRs in the bylaws. That's just an idea. And I also wanted to share a story from my friend Zoe Owens. She has a long history of providing strangers a place to live temporarily in her own home. And she says, we do not make a lot of money sharing our property, and when the city forced us to get a business license, we felt it was highly immoral and unethical for them to force us to do that. We did get a license, even though we did not feel it was any business of the city who we were sharing with or helping out. The amount of money we receive does not even come close to the expenses we pay for our property. Personal hospitality and sharing our property should not be considered a tax liability or business. We already pay about $1,000 a year for taxes to own our property. Once the government took over and made us get a business license, we now have to pay around $4,000 a year just to satisfy the government to share our home. We take in many USC students, Fort Jackson graduates, and homeless families. The Airbnb app helps people who have property find people to share their property with. It does not make home dwellers business people, nor homes business property. Unless, of course, you are like me and were forced into this situation by the government. Shelterless and dormless USC students find my homes and homes on the Airbnb app. I understand that many USC students actually live in their cars. January 2025, I sheltered a couple and their 4 children in my home that I've had for 30 years. Instead of putting extra burdens on people who steward their own property and make private agreements with people who need to share that property, the City of Columbia should be blessing the hospitality of people willing to make the sacrifices to bring others into their homes. The short-term trades we make by sharing our property should be blessed and commended by those in government authority who would not ever think to share what they own. I feel great regret that my ministry of hospitality has been forced to be called a business, and now not only do I have to pay so much more to have a home, but my city wants to take over everything about it. In the Bible, it talks about Sodom and Gomorrah. Those cities' main sin was not being hospitable. When people came through those cities, no one took them in and they were sodomized. Often they were killed. Columbia wants to punish the hospitable. Are you going to love your neighbors and even the strangers by not putting extra burdens on people, or are you going to be, like that? So, thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Prater.
Mr. Mayor and City Council, I want to start by thanking all of you because I know the amount of time you've put into to this issue over the last several months and your willingness to handle midnight phone calls and long community meetings and meetings with neighborhood groups. So I appreciate the effort you've put into getting us to this point, and I want to support where you are currently. But I have 2 recommendations as we move forward. One is that we need to develop a strategy to remove STRs from residential neighborhoods at a faster rate than is currently in the ordinance. The other is that I would ask you to ask South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson to get involved in the matter of addressing the Airbnb and all of the other organizations like that that are currently involved in this issue. Because obviously those organizations don't have compliance with local ordinances and regulations as a part of their process for enrolling people in their organizations. And very shortly in January, we'll bring you forward examples in our own city of that issue. So I would ask you to, because I'm sure that's a statewide issue. And so I think that's best addressed at his level rather than the city of Columbia having to deal with that on its own. But again, I support where we are, and I appreciate the effort that you've put into the matter to this point. Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Whitney Denton.
Whitney, you here? There she is. All right.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for allowing us to speak this evening. I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate because I see both sides of this argument. As a resident in a community, we have the right to quiet enjoyment of our homes, whether it's a short-term rental or a long-term rental. I can tell you what it feels like to have a slumlord rental next to you. I could actually call out a nonprofit that provides housing at low rates that's probably one of the worst slumlords of single-family dwellings, the Housing Authority. But I digress. If a neighborhood wants to speak about shootings of short-term rentals, Rosewood was one of the first to be impacted by a shooting. We were told it was an isolated incident. The investment properties are causing reassessment rates of our homes to go up. And if we don't know as owners how to fight the reassessment so we're not being reassessed on our property taxes based on our neighbors' investment properties, we're priced out of our own homes, even with your owner-occupied tax rate. I actually fought mine last year and I won, because my home facts were wrong and mine was being taxed based on a recent sale across the street. But I know how to fight that. But I don't agree with how far we're going in the opposite direction on potentially restricting the short terms. None of us want government in our daily lives dictating how we can invest. But at the same time, we've got to meet somewhere in the middle for neighborhoods, for good short-term rental investors and operators. I have a short-term rental 3 houses across from me. We've had parties. We had one night where it was a raceway of Dodge vehicles up and down the road till 3 in the morning. Who do you call for that? There's no way to contact them. They're out of California. Both of the ones on my road are not local. So we do have some things we need to address. No one should hit the floor in their home in the middle of the night. And I've dealt with that from a slumlord next door. I should not sleep through gunfire. So as a whole, we have a lot of concerns we need to think about. This is not just about STRs. There is a lot more at play. We can tweak the UDO because we've seen it done this evening in regards to townhome definitions. This is something we can change, but we need to meet in the middle. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. We have Meg Sims.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. First, I want to tell Dr. Bustles, thank you so much for your service. We'll miss you. And I also want to thank you for your quick response on the morning of November 16th, after the shooting, when we found so many spent shell casings, loaded guns, so on and so forth, up and down the street on Darlington Street. You are a consummate neighbor. Again, good evening. My name is Meg Southern Sims. I own my home at 3118 Gadsden Street in Earlwood, and I'm currently serving as the president of ECHO, the Earlwood Community Citizens Organization. Founded in 1977, ECHO is one of the first neighborhood associations in Columbia. This all-volunteer group of Earlwood residents serves to maintain and improve the quality of life, residential character, safety, and sense of community and pride in the Earlwood neighborhood. As this council endeavors to always make data-informed decisions, allow me to provide you with some key data points about short-term rentals in Earlwood. Currently, there are at least 68 short-term rentals operating in Earlwood, which represents about 5% of our total housing stock. Only 53 of those are permitted with the city. 60, that's 88%, are non-owner occupied. Roughly 28% are operated by the same non-resident company. In preparation for this council meeting, ECHO conducted a survey of Earlwood residents and non-resident property owners via our e-newsletter and private Facebook group. 65% of the survey respondents believe short-term rentals have a net negative impact on our neighborhood, and 70% support restricting new short-term rentals in residentially zoned areas. 58% of survey respondents believe existing permitted short-term rentals in good standing should be allowed to continue operating. Survey respondents shared concerns about the detrimental impact short-term rentals have on affordability and availability of housing units in our neighborhood, and short-term rental owner-operators' minimal engagement, as in only one of them engages meaningfully with the Earlwood community. In keeping with the majority of our Earlwood neighbors and many other downtown residents, ECHO believes that unchecked short-term rental growth will erode the strength and character of our community. The proposed amendment before you prevents the proliferation of STRs from engulfing downtown neighborhoods without penalizing existing short-term rental owner-operators in good standing. We urge you to approve the amendment as proposed and help us protect the neighborhoods that make Columbia a vibrant place to work, live, and play. Thank you.
Thank you.
Denise Wellman.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to be in front of you today, Mayor and City Council. I'm Denise Wellman, the president of Cottontown. I know we've had lots of conversations over the last few months about this whole project, or not project, but this whole situation. I think that I want to first thank you so much for the time that you and the staff have spent looking at this subject. I'm appreciative of the language that was placed in the document that short-term rentals mean that they are more of a visitor accommodation than a household living. And I think that's really important for us to keep in mind, that these accommodate visitors and that have no real stake, as someone earlier said, in our neighborhoods. They are transitory, and while there are lots of reasons why short-term rentals might be valuable, the transitory nature of these visitors in our neighborhoods affects the culture, affects our ability to do things. Someone mentioned earlier that, if you don't want short-term rentals, then become an HOA. That's not an option for our downtown neighborhoods that are flooded with short-term rentals. So that's not a reasonable solution for us to come up with. We're looking to you to help us find a way to maintain the culture of our neighborhoods. And while we could be talking about this for many, many more weeks, this at least is an opportunity for us to come up with a way that limits their presence in our neighborhood, that stops the growth in our neighborhood. We're not preventing those that are in the neighborhoods from being there, provided that they are legally there, and Cottontown has some in our neighborhood that are not legal as well. So we ask that you do put something in place that is going to help protect our neighborhoods. Enforcement that a lot of people talk about is not the answer here. Enforcement only helps you after the harm has already been done. So the ordinance that is dealing with the enforcement, which is different than what's in front of us today, is an after effect. And you're coming to an enforcement piece only after the harm has already been done to the neighborhoods. And we would ask you to put some steps in place that can be far more proactive and take care of the neighborhoods that really do have a positive impact on our city. And we thank you again for all the time you've put into this.
Thank you.
Brent Dees.
Brent? Oh, all right. I didn't see you moving.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Brent Dees. That's why I didn't respond at first. But I am an Earlwood resident. I live next to 2 short-term rentals at the moment. And my greatest grief with the short-term rental as a concept is more along the lines of unoccupied short-term rentals. I believe that there is a great use and a great purpose for owner-occupied short-term rentals as a useful tool for renting out to people that need help in a short-term capacity. But unoccupied short-term rentals just don't flow with the community very well. I watched my community go from, or my neighborhood going from having 2 neighbors, one I didn't really talk to all that much, he wasn't the best neighbor, but going from being able to hang out with neighbors to just seeing cars come in and come out all the time. And functionally, to me, this looks like a hotel that was allowed to exist in single-family neighborhoods. And something about that needs to be at least revised a little bit to help out. We have declining school enrollment in a couple of our local school districts. And if families cannot find a starter home downtown to live, they will go to the suburbs and they will not come back. And we need to put in play good housing policies that affirm people's ability to have owner-occupied short-term rentals and not be restricted from that, but also affirm people's ability to own their own home and to be able to raise children and live in this great city. And so I would like to recommend that we look, this is probably outside the scope of this meeting in particular, but I would like to look at the idea of taxing these short-term, owner-unoccupied short-term rentals like hotels, or like more of a financial product than what they currently are. To me, the issue overall is not short-term rentals are gobbling up homes. It's more so that we do not have enough homes in general. And there are many empty lots in my neighborhood that are just not being built upon. And I'd love to see the city take a look at what it takes to take those empty lots and remove whatever maybe meaningless restrictions on them in terms of zoning or ordinances or whatever, and to allow them to get in hands that will actually want to build on them and to bring neighbors into the neighborhood and support our local schools, restaurants, and establishments. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Ed Fleshman.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
How you doing? My name's Ed Fleshman. I live in Shandon. The problem I have with this ordinance is twofold. It is government overreach at the highest levels. Although I don't personally own any short-term rentals and I really don't want one next door, I strongly believe that one should be able to utilize their property as they wish, as long as it is reasonable. If there's an issue where something is not considered reasonable, then there are remedies available to pursue civil or other actions. This ordinance paints with a very broad brush for what seems to be a few highly publicized incidents that have created a knee-jerk reaction. Number 2, we have a problem in the city that we don't enforce ordinances we already have. I'm holding in my hand 5 cases have been reported as rental property with no permit, all within a couple blocks of my house. Last winter, over a year ago, almost 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, and over 3 years ago. The city indicates on the code enforcement and rental property viewing page that data is updated weekly. That's hardly the case. I know for a fact that one of these is a separate unit from a single-family residence on the property, which is zoned SF2. It is my understanding that this detached separate unit is not grandfathered in as a rental. It should not be occupied as either a long-term or short-term rental. My point is that if violations are not being addressed, then basically it's just the people who don't break the rules that are affected. New ordinances are going to be the same old, same old. I respectfully ask the city to enforce the current rules rather than implement new ones that further erode citizens' property rights.
Thank you.
Kathy Brookshire.
Kathy Brookshire.
Mr. Mayor and council members, thank you so much for this evening and for your work all year long. We all appreciate it. We live in a very exciting time right now in Columbia, South Carolina. In Bull Street, we're getting this wonderful new University of South Carolina Medical School. It's going to bring all kinds of fabulous people to Columbia to work and live here. We also have, in addition to that, I heard a brand new hotel, a boutique hotel, another one, is going to be built in downtown Columbia. And that's great too, because our downtown is fabulous. It offers all sorts of accommodations for people with children, people with pets, people who are here to celebrate anniversaries, to celebrate graduations. Those hotels are there to serve those people. The people who work there, and they work there all night long, all during the day, are trained and well capable of taking care of any issues that happen on those properties. That's why they're hotels and not somebody's house. I would urge that the council please consider this wonderful amendment and keep it in place. STR owners, as we sadly know, are not equipped to handle the serious problems that can and do occur in hotels and in their homes. So I urge you to keep the moratorium in and not allow more STRs to be built. In case you haven't noticed, I am an older person and I live in Elmwood Park. I moved there from Irmo because I wanted to be a part of a dynamic city and at the same time be a member of a dynamic neighborhood. And I have found both. In the 10 years that I've been here in downtown Columbia, I have discovered neighbors who will pick up my packages when I can't. When my dog escapes, they know my dog and they help me find my dog. I do the same thing for them. For their children who come up and down my street, going to Logan Elementary, it's as a neighbor that when a child falls and gets hurt, I can be there and say, I know your mom. This is who I am. Let's call your mom, tell her I'm here, and we're gonna get a Band-Aid for you and fix you up. Short-term renters don't do that. They can't. But they can go and support our downtown businesses, our hotels and our restaurants. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Lynn and Fred Leach.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you for having me. My name's Lynn Leach. My husband and I have been short-term rental owners for about 12 years, about 4.5 of those here in Columbia. When we moved to Columbia, they were just starting to talk about rules involving short-term rentals. I'm very much in favor of the current rules that we have. We need to let our neighbors know that we're doing this, make sure they have our contact info. We have to provide information about parking. We want to be good neighbors, we really do. I think that Airbnbs are quite different from hotels. A lot of our guests are coming here because they're moving to the area. And I think we're gonna see more of that as Scout Motors starts to come into play. So we get people who come in and they love being in a residential area to be able to experience what Columbia is like outside of downtown. Nothing against downtown, but we do find that people enjoy having a full kitchen, having a washer and dryer, things like that when they're in transition. So these are not people who are just passing through. So these are people who are looking to become part of the community. I'm not saying that's everybody we get by a long shot, but we do get a lot of those. We also meet a lot of our guests. We've had lunch and drinks and dinner with guests. We've had guests over to our house. So I just think that the Airbnb experience is very different from a hotel, and I think we should encourage it in a responsible manner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Williams.
Jeffrey going once, going twice. Next.
Cheryl, looks like Betts. Cheryl with Hardwood FH.
She left.
Nalanki.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, my name is Nalanka Senavarutna, and I'm also on the board of ECHO, but I come here as a concerned citizen. After I returned to Columbia, I was overjoyed to find a perfect house on the 1100 block of Darlington Street with a vibrant community, many of whom are here. At least I thought it was perfect until November 14th, when Meg and Laurel let me know there was a shooting that occurred at the illegal Airbnb across the street from me. I'd note that when I returned home after a week after the shooting, I also found 2 shell casings in my front yard that the investigative unit did not uncover. Thankfully, I was out of town that night, or else my girlfriend and her son would have witnessed the shooting, which would have made my campaign for them to move to Columbia rather than me move to the upstate that much harder. I'm a supporter of people's rights to do what they will with their property, as long as they respect rules and regulations. I stand here quite disappointed that the night of the shooting there were three clear violations that, if addressed earlier, could have prevented that night's tragedy. The first is the STR was an illegal one. The second was that it was rented out to high schoolers for a party. And the third is that the police did not break up the party when it was called to their attention. I don't know about y'all, but when I was at Dreher in the late 90s, if the cops showed up, the party ended. My concern with the amendment is that it does not sufficiently address the issue of illegal STRs. In my mind, adequate regulation would contain robust sanctions for those who operate STRs illegally, essentially fining them into compliance. As a society, we should strive for one in which rules and regulations are adhered to, and not one where people act with impunity. I would hope that those who advocate for STRs would also support getting rid of malefactors, and I hope that you on the council would do the same.
Thank you.
Brad Swenson.
Good evening. My name is Brad Swenson. I reside at 7716 Layton Road, and I'm here today representing over 20 short-term rental owners as the property manager. I'm the owner and operator of PMI Soda City. This moratorium was based on an emotional decision and tragic event. We've heard in the past and tonight from certain neighborhoods how an entire industry in Columbia should be shut down because they say so. Should there be compromise? Yes. Are they willing to? No. What I hear from them saying is that the order to reduce gun violence in Columbia bans short-term rentals. We all know there is no correlation. According to 2024 FBI statistics, there are only 46 cities in the United States that are more dangerous than Columbia when it comes to violent crimes. Which brings me to the point that this is not a short-term rental issue. According to the Columbia PD website, there were 770 reported shootings last year. 770. That was a 54% reduction from 2023. Let's say the CPD reduces it another 54%. That is 1,186 shootings, and less than 0.002% have occurred at a short-term rental. Thanksgiving night, there was a murder at a residence in the 29203 zip code, a mile away from Elmwood Park neighborhood. Where's the outrage for this death? Because it's not happening in their backyard, they don't care. In addition, STRs not being the issue of violent crimes, they are also not the majority of code violations. According to code enforcement, over 10,000 code violations have occurred in the past year. Only 186 violations have been STRs, 0.02%. Of those 186, 80 of them were roll cart violations. There's an older gentleman that roams around the Rosewood community and only calls code enforcement for STR violations. On a personal note, I have a long-term rental right next door, operated out of Ohio. Guess what? I see the tenant go daily and meet his drug dealer to do a transaction and then walk in. I have a 5-year-old daughter. I urge the council to consider the following actions that are research-based on reducing issues. 1, limit the number of STRs to percentage of the number of homes in the neighborhood. 2, no reservations can be instantly booked within 24 hours of check-in date. 3, in the host house rules, there must be a provision stating that if the booker is a local phone number and there are suspicious activities leading up to the check-in, the host can cancel penalty-free. 4, tougher penalties for current violators of exceeding the occupancy limit. 5, if neighborhoods want to ban STRs, that should be done by their HOA. To summarize, a few citizens who have a personal vendetta against STR owners should not get to decide what an entire city of homeowners should do with their property. In addition to those false narratives that STRs are the issue, small businesses like mine support other local businesses in the past 12 months. I paid out $148,000 to housekeepers, laundry professionals, electricians, plumbers, HVAC companies, and handyman. The proposed regulation on STRs will have a serious economic consequences for the $90 million short-term rental industry in Columbia and have a negative impact on small business. Let's use logical common sense regulations based on facts, not fear-mongering based emotions.
Mr. Mayor, just very briefly, the gentleman who was killed on Thanksgiving night, he was a volunteer baseball coach with the King Park Dodgers, my son's team. Good man, just respect for his family. I want to wish him, his family, a good holiday after hearing about it again. I appreciate you bringing it up.
Carol Wright. Carol Wright.
Good evening, members of the council. This is certainly a very complex issue, and I do not envy the work that you have before you. And I'm here today simply to share my personal experience. That's all I have to offer you. As an STR owner-operator for 10 years, I've had a good experience, so I've prepared a statement to highlight how renting short-term has benefited me personally, and I think the community, and that this new ordinance would prevent going forward. So my name is Carol Wright, and I do live in Earlwood, and I have been renting with a certain model that I would like to share with you today. They're not the primary use of my properties, but rather a tool that supports their sustainability. I operate short-term rentals in 3 contexts currently: my primary residence, a long-term single-family rental, which is also in Earlwood, and a commercial office property in Arsenal Hill. Each of these, the income from the short-term rental helps to support the larger intended use of the property. Renting from my own home in particular provided critical economic stability during a period of personal hardship. It also allowed me to rent affordably to a father who wanted to live in Earlwood so he could walk his daughter to school each day. This is one example of how flexible STR use can create positive community-centered outcomes, including access to more affordable housing. I have shared my story with you before, and I'm speaking again today because of the zoning item. And in my view, it does not adequately represent the full range of voices and experiences involved in this issue. And as proposed, these restrictions would eliminate an important economic opportunity for residents like me who personally use short-term rentals as means of support during hardship and as a way to create unique beneficial housing arrangements. So I respectfully ask that you do not vote in favor of this zoning restriction.
Now, your issue is about homeowners being able to rent their bedroom or rent their house for the 72 days that they're allowed to by law.
Yes, I live in my house and I
Right.
rent out rooms.
You're owner
so-
occupied.
Yeah.
But your concern is that the restrictions will keep you from renting to create income for that period.
Definitely. And also now I have a single family residence that I have a long-term rental, but I would not be able to sustain the property and rent it him at an affordable price without the income of the short-term rental. So that is a unique situation that I present to you. I don't know, that's just my reality. So, and a way I've utilized short-term rentals to benefit the community, I hope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan James.
You good, Ms. James?
Thank you. John Baines. Thank you. Next, we have James Harmon. Thank you. Brianna McDowell.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Brianna McDowell. My husband and I own rentals, but not STR at the moment. We have used STRs in the past and even have one booked for January. I've used it to host out-of-town family coming in which I did not have the space for it in my own residence. These are the type of situations in which we use STRs to get that hometown feel and that a hotel can't provide. We are for and support regulation, but this regulation appears to be a knee-jerk reaction instead of a well-thought-out plan. Much like other people said, it's not all just people going for partying. I pulled up from roomies.com and another site, roommates.com, in which this particular one, Wendy, 57-year-old acupuncturist, is coming to Columbia for a short-term stint, and she has a dog. She doesn't want to be in a hotel. There's Angela Green. She's 57 years old, retired, looking specifically in a specific community because she wants it until her 15-year-old daughter is graduating next year. To me, that screams a potential divorce that she might be going through. If this happened, less than 30 days, she would be in the same predicament in which she wants to keep her kid in that school district until that year's done and then move on to a new one. So like many people saying, this isn't just for people coming in, it's for people displaced for various reasons. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amanda Peluso.
Sure. You might as well get up and exercise a little bit while you're here.
Thanks again for your time and your patience and your listening. This is Amanda's statement. Good afternoon, Mayor and members of council. My name is Amanda Peluso. I'm a Columbian native, a local real estate agent, and a local real estate investor. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. While short-term rentals have become an emotional topic, this decision ultimately comes down to property rights and economic reality. Many local homeowners and investors rely on these properties to meet mortgage, tax, and insurance obligations. The proposal before you goes well beyond reasonable regulation. A zoning-based ban that removes short-term rentals from most residential areas significantly limits the ability of local owners to earn a return on investments made under the city's existing rules. These are not speculative purchases. They are long-term commitments made in good faith. Several council members ran on platforms that included supporting short-term rentals and working together to find balanced solutions. In that context, this proposal represents a sharp shift away from those commitments. I respectfully urge you not to advance a measure of this scope. Columbia can protect neighborhoods without undermining property rights or placing undue financial strain on local owners and investors. A balanced middle ground solution is available, and I hope this council will choose that path. I ask if, when you are vacationing, if you stay in beach houses or mountain houses. If you do, then I suggest that you vote no. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
All right, so moving right along, we have Ms. Lynn, is it Shinley? Shirley. Lynn Shirley?
Mr. Lynn Shirley.
Okay, gotcha.
No phones, no notes. It's either going to be short, incoherent, or both.
We'll take all of the above at this point.
And I wish Dr. Bustles was here for this because I see a little bit of similarity between what we know as a food desert, an area where economic conditions will not support a grocery store. I think in especially the neighborhoods that are adjacent to our thriving center city and the university, what we are coming up on are areas which will not support single-family residential. Part of it are STRs, part of it are long-term rentals, part of it is a university that's grown beyond leaps and bounds. A lot of it is the traffic it adds because of our entertainment districts. But I think we've lost one inner city neighborhood as being desirable for single-family residential, and I fear that my neighborhood and others that are adjacent are going to be next. It's part of a mix of allowing economic activity, but also providing a place where families want to live, even if you're a single person as a family. So consider that long-term tipping point that we may be reaching as we look at some of these policy. Thanks for your time and patience.
Thank you.
Jason Brinkus?
I'm here to talk about the STRs, but what I have to say is actually can be applied more broadly to central planning. I've been trying to make sense of some of these zoning arguments that have been made tonight, specifically the Rosewood property and some of the other arguments that have been made. And the fact is, I can't. And the reason why I can't is because nobody can. I don't know how many people are familiar with the Nobel Prize winning economics economist Frederick Hayek, but he demonstrated demonstrably that central planning doesn't work because there's a knowledge problem. There's nobody on this council that knows the optimal place to place a pizza parlor or a bakery or a auto repair center or a house. You just don't have that knowledge. In fact, not even the entrepreneurs who engage in the economic process, not even they know. The difference between the entrepreneurs and this council is that they actually risk. The people that you have heard here tonight are those entrepreneurs that have engaged in that risk. There's only one way to allocate scarce resources, and land would be that scarce resource in this case, and that's price. The people who are willing to pay the most price know how best to use those resources. And if they don't, then they will fail and those resources will be freed up for others. And I have one dirty little word to use, that is capitalism. I suggest that we might want to try it.
I don't know if I'd be clapping about that one.
Leah Griffin?
Okay. First of all, I absolutely want to acknowledge that gun violence is horrific. My community, I'm Jewish, we, there's experienced a horrific gun violence tragedy this last week.
Ma'am, I know you want to talk to everybody else, but I need you to talk to the mic
sure.
because this is being live streamed and recorded. Thank you.
Happy to. So I definitely don't want to underscore how important it is that all people feel safe in their communities. But I'm kind of a sort of short-term rental success story. I've bought my house on West Confederate before it was West Confederate. It was a foreclosure. It wasn't even cool to live downtown then. But I love my community. I love having, for the last 10 years, I've had exchange students, travel nurses. I've experienced people from all over the world, and it's been incredible, and I've enjoyed it. They participate in the community. They go and eat at my restaurants. Like Warmouth is everyone's favorite. And they often engage in the community regularly. Also, these tragedies are horrific, but we didn't exactly ban Uber after we experienced a tragedy either. So I agree that there needs to be rules. People need to be following them. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. But yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't
Kim
hear.
Franklin.
Good evening. I've lost my voice.
Shouldn't have been yelling in the back row so much.
I had remarks.
You want to email them to us?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
As a small business owner who works in the short-term rental space, I urge you to vote no to this because I believe that there are benefits on both sides, and I believe this is not the best solution we could have for the growth and for our communities going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Please send us your comments because I know you had more than that. Thank you.
Matt Varner.
It is, it's what we do.
Hey, council. Happy holidays, everybody. Mayor. I'll be brief to avoid repetition and to extend this any further. I live downtown in a historical neighborhood, Arsenal Hill, across the road. Quickly just say that I think there needs to be more work on this before we approve it as is. Obviously, on both sides are friends and neighbors of mine, and it's just, there's disagreement on the best way to get what we all want to achieve. Those of us in Arsenal have some short-term rentals that we use to basically control a transitional neighborhood, and also, of course, as the point's been made, to generate some extra income for us. But there needs to be some things to address the safety problems and preserve what is one of Columbia's best assets is our downtown neighborhood. So I urge you to reconsider the way it is in its present form is extreme, and let's find a winning solution for everyone.
Thank you, Matt.
Mayor, someone signed up, and I do not want to risk totally butchering his or her name, but it starts with a W-E-I, maybe G or Q-U. Sounds familiar, anyone? We will move on if not. W-E-I. So anyone's name starts with W-E-I. All right, thank you. Kay Moore.
Kay Moore?
Are you here to speak on STRs?
You're, no, you're not. Okay.
Okay, and that would end the list of individuals who signed up to speak on STRs.
Okay. All right, so.
And Mayor, I know you're good at doing this. I don't know if anyone else has remarks.
Wow, that's what I was about to ask.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak for or against the proposed? Please come to the podium, sir. State your name for the record.
My name's Paul Michaud. I'm at 3101 Gadsden Street. That's in Earlwood. And I just wanted to share my experience with Airbnbs or short-term rentals. And it started at the master's degree at College of Charleston. My unit was changed from a long-term rental to short-term, so I had to move out to Johns Island. And then I just wanted to say that I feel like this actually does a pretty good job. Like if you look at Savannah, Airbnb loves their policies, and ours are very similar to that, or this proposal is. So I think that this is a good proposal, and it works pretty well. But yeah, let me think. I think that we do have to be kind of cautious with this commercial element in our neighborhoods. It seems like there's kind of a social fabric that the Airbnbs start to kind of poke holes in. And I really like Earlwood. I grew up in Columbia, and I kind of always wanted to live there, so I feel very fortunate to be there. And I think that right now the owners, like, they're not going to lose their place. Like they're fighting to have like more Airbnbs, but maybe we're at a threshold where at least in the middle, and I mean, they can get more along, the busier roads and stuff. So yeah, I think this is a good proposal, and that it does a lot to work towards what we want. And I thank staff and everybody that put time into it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, have we heard from, come on down, the price is right. You don't get to spin the wheel, but you get 3 minutes.
Okay, I only had one thing to say about the short-term
Yes,
rental.
ma'am.
Why don't we have Siegel Suites built instead?
Well, I'm sorry, I couldn't even.
Siegel Suites, the hotel converted into apartment homes on Greystone Boulevard. It used to be long-term, basically for parents that come for parent weekend. They'd rent a hotel room, and it was like big, shaped like a house or
You
apartment.
talking about Embassy Suites?
No, not that one. It's Siegel Apartment Suites across. They changed the name recently, but it's Siegel Select Apartment Homes now. And it used to be an apartment. It used to be a hotel. And the parents for Parents Weekend would come down and they'd be there. But because we have so much corporate greed in Columbia, people are getting evicted out of their homes, moving to Siegel Select and using it as a temporary apartment. And they're there for 3 and 4 and 5 years. That is our Parent Weekend short-term rental thing. We have that, but because it's being filled by homeless people, now we have residents who are using their homes to try to help alleviate those problems. So we have a homeless problem in Columbia.
Oh, we do
and
have a
greed
homeless problem.
But it's caused by corporate greed. People are being,
And ma'am,
it is because we're being
it's not
priced.
just corporate
Well,
greed.
not just
We're
that,
gonna
but that's one of the
disagree with that.
issues.
85% of our homeless problem is mental health that's not being taken care of by our state and federal government, and drug addiction. So,
That's what I came here for. That's why I put my hand down, because that's
so
what my.
at the end of the day, I think we do have a homeless problem. We've seen an increase of homeless problem.
Yeah.
But it has, long-term, what we need to do is consolidate $40 million a year of spend in this community to address homelessness, and we're not moving the needle. So what we really need to do is reevaluate ourselves as a whole.
I have that already
So-
from when you let public speaking. But
Yes,
for
ma'am.
this in particular, I was wondering if we could get more Siegel Suite type places built for that people come in that need a
I'd
couple
love
of
for
days here
somebody
or
to
there.
develop that. I mean, that's what the
Someone here,
commercial
developer?
districts are for.
Somebody in here is a developer, ask one of them. But if we had the Siegel Select closer, maybe even on Rosewood, for the people that come in to
Well,
visit.
you can't because of the height. We just
Well,
learned
yeah.
that from the automotive.
Can it be 2 stories instead of 3? I know they said 3 was their issue. If it was 2 stories, maybe, I don't know. But if we had something like that in that area, maybe we'd alleviate some of the problems, because some people want it, some people don't. So that would at least lower the number in their neighborhood. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it? All right, last word.
Next one, save the best for last. My name is Robin Spaniel. You may know me from my emails. That's Bird Dog. I live in Cottontown, and I am not in favor of this. As you people have said before, knee-jerk reaction. I think it is. I want to be able to sell my home whenever I have to move tomorrow, or not sell my home, rent my home out so everybody can go to Bull Street whenever I end up in Merle Gardens. That's why I am in Cottontown, because
You can
it's
rent
so
your home.
vibrant. It's so great. Also, I don't think that if you look forward, if you can only put Airbnbs on 4-lane highways and places where you don't want a family to be there, what happens in 10 to 15 years when the Airbnbs that are in communities are gone, and then you just have Airbnbs out in the middle of nowhere with no trespassing signs everywhere in the city too? I just don't think it's a good idea. I think you need to look into it more. I want to keep the Airbnbs.
Did you look at the map, just out of curiosity, did you look at the map at all the opportunities that you have? I'm just curious.
No, I didn't look at the map. I just saw that they were 4-lane highways and industrial places.
There's mixed use, there's commercial districts which are tied into different neighborhood corridors, et cetera. I would just encourage you to look at the map just for your own
Okay.
edification.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that was the last word there. I know. So let me tell you where we are. There's a couple things here. Number one, nobody's going to be happy at the end of the day on either side. And it's not a knee jerk. We've been working on this for a long time, looking and listening to all the things, and Airbnb and Vrbo and all the national platforms are not helping at all. They allow people to false advertise. They won't require permitting, et cetera. It goes on. Not every STR owner is a bad owner. There are a lot of great people doing a lot of good things. And there is a need for it both. That's why we don't want to get rid of them. But we're in a quandary because a cap system doesn't work. When you got a neighborhood who has 60 units and you're saying that's the limit to it when it already exceeds a pretty big percentage, do you push it to another neighborhood? I don't think so. I don't think that was the intent. So looking at this, a lot of people talking about, look, we got 2,100 empty lots out there for home ownership opportunities. Those people who own the lots are keeping us from growing. It's not the STR industry. It's not the long-term rental, because you can look at the numbers. It's really down. So yes, we have done some research. The biggest problem we have right now, to be quite honest to you, in this ordinance, and it's going to be something we've got to change, is the home ownership part. Because if you're a owner occupied, you should have the ability, if you want to rent it out for a couple weeks, because state statute says you can do that for 72 days before it reverts to a commercial property. That is a problem. There's several folks who've reached out, some elderly folks who rent out rooms on a week-to-day basis, garage apartments, et cetera. This is a comprehensive. This isn't just about the shootings. And I know for those folks who live around that house, that is. It would be if it happened next to my house. I mean, let nobody lie that it wouldn't affect the way you think or the way you feel, right? I mean, let's just be honest. So we have to figure this out. And everybody keeps talking about meeting in the middle. There has been no middle, all right? Because the bad actors aren't stop acting. The agencies aren't working with us to go after those bad actors. We had to sue to get our money that was collected. Sue, spend legal money to get the money that's actually owed to us. So it's been a balancing act on all sides. I believe this ordinance, it needs a tweak. The home ownership piece, I clearly heard that. We got to tweak that. I'm in favor of moving forward with the ordinance with the understanding that we get this corrected, meaning we fix the home ownership. Because if you own your home and you want to rent a room or you want to rent it for the weekend, hell, if you want to rent it enough so that you can have the opportunity to pay for your property tax, we shouldn't do that. Those folks who have their permits now and operate a Airbnb in good graces, we're not taking it away from you. There are other places, if you want to expand that business and that's your main business role and you want to expand it, the mixed use, the frontline roads, and there are plenty of Airbnbs in those frontline roads that still gives you that house feel and other. I do think there's a place for it. So I think it's a balance, because I have a feeling when we move forward, both sides are not going to be happy with this council, which, by the grace of policy probably means it's a good policy. So for me, what I see is that we should move this forward with the intent that part of our legal team sits down with us in the planning to address and fix the home ownership piece. I believe that is a perfect, because that gives a lot of avenue and a lot of locations for people to grow, and it doesn't take away from the people who are existing in the business. I'm not for in 5 years or 10 years it goes away, and some people want that. Some people want us to change the ordinance to non-conforming, which would create such a mess throughout the city because you can't just apply it to one entity. And that would take some people out of home ownership, that would take work lives out. There's all these things that we have to think about. So for me, I think we give this first reading with the understanding that our legal team work with both planning and zoning to come up with a comprehensive amendment that allows us to deal with the home ownership piece, and we move forward. My motion is that we move forward with those intent so that we can get that. And that means that we're moving towards lifting the moratorium and open up the doors with the unified map is that. With that, that's my motion. We got a second. Further discussion. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles? Mr. Brennan? Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey. I printed a complex.
We're not done.
For him to sign. Can you see if it's on that copy or not?
Where is that?
Folks, we're not adjourned. We still have a meeting going on. If you'd like to go home, you're more than welcome to, but we got work to continue. Thank you.
So that item was the last item on the public hearing. I do have, I believe, the next item on the agenda, which is,
Item 28.
thank you, yes. And so this is an annexation. This is an annexation with interim future land use amendment and an interim zoning map amendment. And I apologize. So, and I don't have a slide for that one, but this is 1227, 1235 Bakersfield Road. And I'm not going to read all the addresses, but Diamond Lane, and also 3 addresses on Statler Road. And this is property that's just north of Dutch Square Mall. So it's just off of Broad River Road. There's actually portions of it that extend to it. This property is owned by the Word of God Church and Ministries, and so this is a request to annex. This would return to you to confirm the zoning, the proposed interim zoning, proposed interim land use is Urban Core Community Activity Center and Urban Edge Residential Large Lot. And the proposed zoning district would be Community Activity Center / Corridor District and Residential Single Family Large Lot District. And those districts would coincide with the current county zoning, which the portions that are closer to Broad River Road are currently zoned general commercial, and there are 3 individual lots that are zoned residential 2 by Richland County. So we're basically translating those county zoning districts into City of Columbia zoning districts.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against this first reading for annexation and interim land use amendment and interim zoning map amendment?
Mayor, this item is not up for a public hearing. It's just first reading of the ordinance.
All right. I didn't know if anybody wanted to speak on it. I mean, had an open forum, so. Reverend McDowell?
So move.
Got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Moving into a period Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, should I continue?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you. Ordinances first reading, item 29, ordinance number 2025-101, granting an encroachment to Sean Eubanks for the use of the right-of-way area of the 6100 block of Hampton Lees Lane for the installation and maintenance of a wooden fence adjacent to 1 Copperfield Court.
So move. There is a motion properly seconded. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, Ms. Hammond?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Thank you.
Item 30, ordinance number 2025-108, approval for granting an easement to Dominion Energy South Carolina, Inc. along a portion
So
of
moved.
city-owned property.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Second. And a second. Any questions, comments? Ms. Hammond?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Thank you.
Item 31, ordinance number 2025-109, authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase and sale agreement between the City of Columbia and the Kessler Enterprise, Inc., and any necessary deeds, assignments, bills of sales, and other closing documents for the sale of Washington Square Office Building, 1136 Washington Street, the Washington Plaza Parking Garage, 1112 Washington Street, and the Washington Plaza Retail Shops.
So move. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Event resolutions, item 32, resolution number R 2025-084, authorizing consumption of beer and wine beverages only at First Thursday on Main
So moved.
Street.
Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none.
All right. Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Moving into a period of city council committee referrals, reports, and new business, item 33, council is asked to refer the development of a flag display policy for city government property and public-facing facilities to the Administrative Policy Committee as requested by the Honorable Tyler D. Bailey.
Mr. Mayor, can we take all three of these up at the same time? Or all
Well,
three
considering
referrals?
they're yours, yes, I would say that, we've been working with staff on AI strategy. We had folks from Mitch Weiss and some other folks from the Harvard Bloomberg program here, and we've got some other stuff going. So there's a lot of things moving, so this will only enhance, but thank you for
Great.
bringing it forward.
Thank you.
Would you like me to read them in the record, Mr. Bailey,
Well,
or one at a
there's-
time?
There's a printout. I would just ask that be made a part of the record, but we could just go the highlights. I could say a few things. We've been here a long time. I'm trying to shorten this agenda up. But three referrals that are on the agenda, there's one for a flag display policy on city government property. The other is a incentive package to try to attract an urgent care in North Columbia after assessing healthcare gaps in the area with consultation with the Economic Development Committee. And then the last one, as the mayor referenced, is a comprehensive artificial intelligence strategy and policy where we not only look how we're using artificial intelligence, but look at ways where we can enhance our city functions through AI, but also have public engagement and make sure it's being used in a responsible and ethical way. The three committees are, the first one is the Administrative Policy Committee. The second would be community development, and then the last one is to the city manager and the executive team to work on the AI strategy. And if I get a second, we could probably get this meeting closed.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
And Mr. McDowell? Yes. Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Are there any other committee reports or referrals or new business?
The Administrative Policy Committee met today to review the honorary street naming applications. The committee endorses the following items. Honorary street naming in honor of Curtis Elkins at the corner of Katy Street. Mr. Elkins was a community leader within the Golden Acres community and was affectionately called Mr. Golden Acres. The second honorary street naming is in honor of Rosewood Elementary School at the corner of 3200 Rosewood Drive and 200 South Raven Street. Rosewood Elementary will be celebrating 100 years of service to the community. Mr. Mayor, I move the adoption.
So he's moving the adoption. I'll make the second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to refer a pilot program for a food pantry app, Need No More, to the Community Development Committee after meeting with the group in a positive report from the Office of Business Opportunities and Mayor's Office vetting. In addition to the great need they fill, they are also a product of the Boyd Innovation Center's newest incubator cohort.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you. So Mayor, we ready for public input?
We are ready.
We have 3 individuals signed up to speak. We will start off with Ms. Diane Wiley.
Miss Wiley, I got to be home by midnight.
Say that again.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to
How you doing? I got
you.
sleep.
Yes, Santa. Oh, Lordy.
I'm not gonna fuss today. I just wanted to bring y'all something. From now on, I'm gonna do mine at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Tired and cold and sleepy, and I'm hungry. But I just wanted to give y'all a little something, a little token. If you don't want it, give it back.
Yes,
Don't
ma'am.
throw my stuff away. It wasn't free. Okay. You can take hers. Take that candy. Yeah, uh-huh.
I didn't get one.
I gave you 2. Somebody done took your stuff. I got one for you. Everybody got a box.
I didn't get a box.
You got it.
I'm gonna take Tina's.
But anyway, I just wanted, I know
She's
you.
not here.
No, let me finish. I know y'all be going through a whole lot. We take you through a lot. But, I want to make sure I do this every year. This is on my agenda. I can fuss at you and be nice to you at the same time.
That's why we love you, Miss
But
Wiley.
anyway, I still got one thing I need to tell you. The man is putting his business up. He already got his business up on Bronx Street. They got bins out there. It's going to be roaches, rats, snakes, and everything out there. He already got his fence up. You know what I told you a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
His name is Peter. We're supposed to have a meeting next month. Not you, his name is Peter. And all I want to know is, how can these people come in and start a business and don't inform us? We don't want no trash beside the house. There's houses on the side and the front
I have to
and
go
the
by there
church.
and look, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. He
if
already got
somebody
everything up.
takes a piece of property and it's zoned properly, I mean, that's what we
No,
need
but
to
it's
do.
trash. We don't, what we have we got garbage service. Why we need somebody to put bins out there to put trash in?
I don't know, I have to go look at it because I'm not sure what you're
We're
referring
gonna have a
to.
meeting with them next month.
All right.
So we already done started
You
working
like
on.
us to join you?
Yeah, they better, because it's right in their house, right in the back doors, you know. And he told me, this is what he said. He said, when the zoning people can't get out, you know, like give tickets to people who have had to clean up their yard, they're gonna work with the city to clean up. I said, well, I'm gonna make sure I done told you this the second time. So
He didn't have
apparently
any
he must have
bins out
talked to
there.
somebody at the zoning thing.
Yeah. Well, we'll get together.
Yeah, please do, because the church is against it, and the apartments right there, and they got houses around it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but anyway, I want to make sure y'all have something, you know, nibble on tonight.
Merry Christmas.
I need something to drink
Got it.
tonight,
Mr.
Ms.
Mayor.
Wiley.
Mr. Mayor.
If you pull something out of your purse like that, you and I can hang out later on.
Mr. Mayor. Ms. Wiley, let me just say a parting word to you as we close out the year, this last council meeting. Yeah, I think everybody got one. Just want to say thank you. You've been very active in our council. There is not another president, and I'm sure some of our presidents attend, but you attend every council meeting. And while we are able to argue with you, disagree with you sometimes over the phone, I want to say thank you. You have been very passionate about your community. You've been very active in your community. You've given us a parting gift for the end of the year, and we thank you.
Yeah.
We thank you for that, and we would hope that as we move into 2026, that same passion and that same kind of enthusiasm
Yeah.
will continue to be with you. So we say thank you. And every one of my colleagues, while we may disagree with you, we got to love you.
Yeah, I hope
Thank
you
you.
do. I hope
Thank
you
you.
do.
That's all I want to say.
But I want to say something
That's all I
too.
want to say.
When I don't see none of y'all, don't ask me for no vote. Don't ask me for a vote. As long as I can call you and aggravate you and tell you what I need to tell you, you'll get back where you want to be. I want you to know that.
I couldn't sleep if I didn't get a call from you.
I know you couldn't. And I got all the time in the world. I love you. I love all of you. But I'm passionate about what I do.
You're 100, but Ms. Wiley, you have to understand what Reverend McDowell just said is the absolute truth. Your passion and commitment to push to get things done, and it allowed us to work with the state and others to make a major impact in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
That would not have happened had you not done what you did, which was not give up at any point.
I'm not a giving
And
up
push,
person.
no, but you impacted.
Yeah.
If you go through that neighborhood and you look at the 65 homes that were able to get aid and change, everything from roofing to windows to kitchens to electrical to HVAC.
You did it. You helped do it.
At the end of the day, it wouldn't have happened had you not brought it forth and said, these folks are being forgotten. The system is not working.
Yeah, yeah.
And collectively, with a partnership with Representative Howard, Reverend McDowell, bringing in all the partners that we brought in, we were able to address. And some of these homes, I remember sitting with one of our code enforcement, the lady's like, we don't have a choice. We've got to move this woman out of this house, right in your neighborhood, because it just was not safe.
Yeah, yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you, too.
Thank you.
This keeps me going, y'all, because you know I lost my husband. I'm lonely, and I ain't got enough time. Time.
Oh, I got to find you a JOB.
Mayor, next we have Ms. Fossum.
Who is that?
Fossum. All right. Last but not least, Michael Dalton.
Hey, good evening.
Thank you for your patience in waiting. I know it's been long.
Oh, it's past my bedtime, probably y'all's too. You can call me Mike, by the way. I've been in Columbia area about 19 years. First day I was when I stepped off the bus at military base down the street for basic training. They sent me back here. I was in the Army band. Did GI Bill.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
And thank you for your service as well, and all of you. You got some hard things to solve here, right? This one's easy for you, I think. So I did the GI Bill at USC. I've been raising kids, and my wife of 18 years will celebrate 19, I think, in January. So, been in the area. You guys do a fabulous job. Love living here. The rivers are great. Fishing, golf, and I played the trumpet, right? I still do it every once in a while. I picked it up the other day. Lexington Community Band got a flyer. My son's at River Bluff. I was like, I thought they, with COVID, went, but no, they're going strong. So I played with them a couple of months, and I've been busking downtown. I went to the Greenville Parade. I went to the Lexington Parade, talked with the Greenville Police Department because you have to have a license up there. And I was just visiting, and I said, do you guys enforce that if I'm not, and they said, oh, no, we don't. So been busking down here. I was at Soda City the other day. Usually I make about $100 an hour. Do it whenever I want. It's a pretty good gig. So I was removed by 5 police officers from doing that from the corner on the sidewalk where the Christmas tree is. I tried to explain some case law behind that. Took them 15 minutes Googling things. So section 11.704A2 prohibits performance in a public area where a street event, this is Columbia Code, where a street event's being conducted. Subsection B addresses time restrictions. G prohibits interference with the event. I allows for donations and sets sign limits. M and N address sound limits and amplifiers, which are allowed within the decibel limits. And I was in compliance with all of this stuff, right? There's a constitutional overarching fundamental idea. Ask Miles Davis if he's speaking through his trumpet. It's actually protected through a lot of case law. Davenport versus City of Alexandria, 4th Circuit, 1983 on appeal is a good example here. And I didn't have time to do a lot of Googling this week, and I don't have access to Westlaw. But I would urge you guys to look it up because you know where I'm going to be on Saturday morning, right? I didn't make a tea time this week, so I'm not going to walk off like I did last week. So I'd appreciate you addressing that with.
You get a busker permit?
Yes, sir. I do have a busker permit, which was properly displayed and explained to the police officers over the course of 15 minutes. Nice officers, you do an excellent job. You look good on that float the other day, Chief, but they got this one wrong. And I tried to explain the complexities of the case law layered on top of the ordinance. We all know what the law of the land is. And it's been well established that busking musical instruments to include taking donations is First Amendment. And if there's any deference to First Amendment protection versus safety issues, right? I'm not juggling fire. Nope, don't worry about it. Okay, performances like that, then you have justification, okay? But amplified within, 80 decibels is pretty reasonable. You guys, current limit's a little low according to some case law. I just wanted to talk with you about that. I got 22 seconds left, that's pretty good. I messaged you on LinkedIn a couple years ago.
So, sorry for laughing, but that was funny. Because you were trying to figure out how to use those 22 seconds.
Well,
you should have brought your horn and played a little bit.
I got an econ degree, right? A gentleman earlier said that economic principle, people with the money know how to better use resources. They didn't teach me that at the University of South Carolina necessarily. So keep up the good work. I need y'all's help with this one. I'll be there Saturday morning. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it? That's
Yes, sir.
everybody signed up?
Yes, sir.
Come on down, ma'am. Huh?
See what? What was that?
He said, come on up.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Okay, so I signed on the wrong paper. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We're not going to agree, so I apologize in advance.
That's all right. That's what's great about this city. You can do that.
And I emailed you earlier, so. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Kay Moore. I'm co-founder of the Moore Charity Group, a homeless nonprofit based out of Columbia. I just want to say that my personal opinion, I don't believe we have a homeless crisis in Columbia. I believe we have a drug crisis in Columbia. There is a crisis that needs to be addressed. Number one, children in Columbia are getting their only meals from school lunch programs. They go home to unsafe conditions, neglected homes, or parents who don't know how to care for them. Many don't have a home at all. Some are even being dropped off by school buses at hotels behind the Harbison Mall because their families have been priced out by what I believe is corporate greed and inflation, high rents, and rent going up every year, $200. It's not just a problem for homeless adults, it's a crisis for our most vulnerable population, our children. We have people sleeping downtown right now, not because we lack land or ideas, but because we lack structured housing that gets people off the streets immediately and protects children at the same time. Allegedly, Columbia has over 500 unhoused individuals living on the streets in the downtown area alone. Our current shelter system isn't working. As we all know, downtown is historic, so there isn't much space to build outward, but what if we were to build upward? At the More Charity Group, a homeless nonprofit, we've been working within the community. We've been encountering these families along the way while trying to help our homeless population. We've been encountering families in these situations, and we've been brainstorming a few ideas. Today, I would like to present to you one of those ideas, an initiative called the Columbia Cares Community, or the 3 Cs. Tiers 1 and 2 are pods, affectionately referred to as Columbia capsules, inspired by Japanese-style capsule hotels going viral on TikTok right now. These are immediate and secure spaces that will remove people from the sidewalks, parks, and downtown corridors the same day they enter the system. If legally permitted, make them a law where that people cannot sleep outside because the excuse of I have nowhere to go will no longer be a valid excuse. Tiers 3 and 4 would be providing people a larger, more supportive unit for residents who need structured help to transition off of the streets, access employment programs, and rebuild their lives. Tier 5 is for individuals and families who have been priced out of their homes by market rate inflation, corporate greed, and have been forced into hotels. Tier 6 is for families who graduate these units. They're cap-sized family units, the size of a hotel room, because that's where families end up anyway, in hotel rooms. And these cap-sized family units, there are no automatic upgrades for additional children. Graduation is conditional. Children must be safe, healthy, and developmentally supported, reading near grade level, properly cared for, and protected. I ran out of time, sorry. But if you want to hear the rest.
You're going to leave that with us?
Yeah, and I emailed him the rest of
Okay.
it too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Going once, going twice? Yes, Ms. Thomas, welcome.
So I don't have a great understanding of this, so I just wanted to ask a couple of clarification questions. It was my first time ever hearing about the ordinance or the agenda item number 31. Am I allowed to ask questions about that, or is that not open for public discussion?
You can ask questions about whatever you want.
So from the Fitz News article, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that Rick Patel was bidding $5 million, which would have brought more money in for our investment because the Washington Square properties are valued at about $13.7 million, according to Richland County. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. So he was offering to pay $5 million to the city of Columbia at zero taxpayer expense. And instead of going with that offer, we chose to use the brothers who have the development firm down in Orlando, who are only going to be offering us $2.1 million. And we are going to subsequently pay them $400,000 out of taxpayer money. And we're giving up the city of Columbia parking garage. So can it just be
So to
like,
clarify, number one, Rick is not the only, there are multiple bids on the property, right? Number two,
And
just
they're
to.
not bids.
They're
Mr.
not
Mayor.
bids, they're unsolicited proposals, to be clear.
Okay.
Which means, but also you're talking
The
about.
article's completely wrong. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
but.
I also talked to him.
Jessica?
Yeah, I also talked to him, and he told me like a couple of different details. Again, I want to, if my understanding is incorrect, please tell me.
Well, your understanding isn't incorrect based off what you read. The article is just completely inaccurate.
Well, some of what I had questions about were from what we discussed too, personally. It just
Right, well, I wasn't part of that conversation.
No, it's
but
okay.
Yeah, but I can clarify the process if you'd like me to do that.
What are they? You said they're not bids. What are they?
No, ma'am. So in this process, Mr. Mayor, if you'd like me to, just for the benefit of the public, I think we probably need to do that because
I'll
it's a-
comment afterward. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, but it's, like we said earlier, the magnitude of the projects that were on this agenda tonight it's so frustrating because everything is always done in the light of day with the work that we do at the city and with integrity. So to have an article display a process without once consulting the people who actually put the process together is poor journalism at its best. So the process that we went through for this historic property, and again, this all started back very publicly last July when we talked about all of the city properties that we're putting back on the tax rolls, the real estate of the city, in an effort to really amplify and move in the direction of doing things extra special in this city. And so we chose to look for development at its highest and best use. It's not about the amount of money spent. It's not necessarily about, utilizing a procurement process, which is where a bid would come into play. So we chose to use a commercial developer, a broker to help solicit the best uses, to solicit and market our properties in collaboration with the City of Columbia internally of our marketing professionals. And when we do that, that gives us the ability to seek the best and highest use for what we have determined as a matter of policy, what we want to see for the corridor that we're trying to develop. And so that's the process we're in. There's been letters of interest that were submitted, no bids. There have been letters of interest that were, quite frankly, maybe at a higher value than what Mr. Patel is suggesting that he submitted, which all of those were wonderful letters of interest, but it comes down to what's at the highest and best use for what we're trying to do with the property.
Okay.
And it's not through a bid process at this point. So we reached a point and always said that in this time frame, December, January, we would begin looking at those and really determining which direction we wanted to go, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Okay. So I guess if it's not a bid process, that changes the scope of my questions a tiny bit. What justification, and sorry if it sounds like I'm coming from a rude angle, what justification?
You're not. I'm just trying to give you the clear information.
Okay. What justification could outweigh $2+ million in additional value from a trusted local partner? And why are we paying $400,000 out of our pocket and also overlooking bids that didn't include us giving a taxpayer-funded parking garage to these people?
Well, multitude of the developments would have also needed the parking. I mean, any developer of that magnitude would have needed the parking. And it's not, again, just about the value, which there's other things that have to come into play with a building like that, which is very much so aged. In some senses, lost its useful life. So there are other factors that come into play about the maintenance, the upkeep, the ongoing issues that have to be maybe asbestos abatement, things of significant amounts of money that the developer would have to take on. So in some sense, you can look at what the amount that was in the Richland County assessor value. You can also look at fair market value. There's various ways to look at the value of the property, but it doesn't always take into account the other things that have to be done. And again, what brings the taxpayer value, if that's getting to your specific question, and what we looked at in this project is what is the highest and best use and who is the developer that is going to check every single box of what we looked for, and that is cultural, entertainment, amenities, not just a hotel. Who's going to develop 20,000 square feet of retail space because they have the ability to do it out the gate, clearly have the ability to do that because they've done it every other single property that they've developed and turned cities around in the process. There's so much data, so much analytics that we've looked at to ensure that this is certainly the right fit for what we're trying to do in the corridor that will amplify not just downtown, but it will bring value on the back end. from property tax values, hospitality tax revenue, et cetera. And so we feel very confident that they're the best partner for the right time in Columbia with everything that we're trying to do to amplify our city and our communities.
Maybe I'm being a little bit dumb, but I still don't get why we spent $400,000 from taxpayer money.
Tenant upfit allowance. That's what happens when you rent a space, you get a tenant upfit allowance. This is part of the tenant upfit allowance that we would be paying out, that they're going to do the work. So we're returning that. They're paying us 2.9, we're giving them 400 back towards that on work that we would be doing if we rented it out. They're going to do the work as part of their process. Also, you got to look at the overall development. Look at the Kessler Collection. The Kessler Collection took a old mill in Savannah, Georgia, and turned it into a JW Marriott that's split between, it has 13 restaurants and stores. It has a museum. It has public space that's opened up. When we're talking about a development here, this isn't about a hotel. This is about the experience that goes with it and the effect it has all the way around. It brings retail, it brings high-paying jobs, training programs. If you look at the measure, and so having the right, this will be the first 4-star hotel that this city has ever had in the last, 50 years? I don't know that there has been. This is a level. So when we make an investment, it's just like when we go to making a piece of property work. Same thing we're doing with housing. We're taking no money for the land. We're putting that in as equity for that home ownership piece. Sometimes we have to plant the seed. And so part of that is looking at what does the development bring this community? It brings us a higher tax base right there from a standpoint of bringing in hospitality tax and things. So that's, you're talking about that. It's bringing in retail, it's bringing in restaurant, all being part of that one development. It's creating space that will be access to public, so they'll be part of the development. If you go look at all their properties, you see the effect it has. That's the type of person we're looking at. So there's more to it than just saying a dollar amount. Because a dollar amount, and no offense to Mr. Patel, but I guarantee he would be coming back and asking us for stuff as well. It's not just a clean sale, so don't get fooled by that. This is a game changer for Columbia. The ripple effect of what this hotel can do and the partnerships they want to create with the hospitality industry. You know, you talk about Hayward Career Center. They want to help work with the community operators. That's what they've done. This is how they built their model, and they're very well respected. So I wouldn't discount it, but I will tell you.
And we would encourage you and any member of the public to not just listen to, with anything. I mean, this goes with anything. Right, absolutely. To not just listen to one opinion or side of a story, which everyone is entitled to what they think. But the reality is there are multiple letters of interest. There are multiple developers who submitted for this, and there have been every single other one who was in that process so far has applauded the decision. So if there was something wrong about the process, it would, you would have to ask yourself, why is only one person questioning it when there were a multitude of others who were a part of it and actually said, because if you know the brand, if you know the flag, if you know everything that Mayor Rickman just explained about the Kessler Collection and understand what it means for our community, then you wouldn't question it.
I don't know. I appreciate you guys explaining it for me. I know I have very little part of the picture, and there's so much more. So thank you for the comprehensive information.
Thank you for asking.
And happy holidays.
You too.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Madam Clerk, we're adjourning.
Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas.
No vote? I want the last roll of the year.
I see you had
I need-
cut
we
on
gotta-
your
we gotta- let's call it- we gotta call a roll.
You
Year.
cut your mic on. It's consensus.
Thank you. I wasn't done.
Oh, you had something else?
Oh, we're sorry, Mr. Mayor.
The count
No, I was just gonna say, it's been a good year, sir, with y'all. It's been a long year. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa.
Thank you,
Merry
Mr.
Happy Hanukkah.
Mr. Bailey.
Let's go for the rest of the year.
Great first
Full year, first full year, almost, yeah, almost. Thereabouts.
Yeah.